We do look good. We're good-looking guys.
Well, some of us more than others, but whatever. We can't all be models.
Sorry, I can't hide my ugliness behind facial hair.
You.
What are you trying to say there, Nathan? Welcome back to The Watch, and there's a bit of a different setup here. Sir Nathan, is kind of basically got a promotion. He's now going to be acting as our producer. Say hi, Nathan.
Hello. I've been doing this for a while, but now I finally get a little spot for my own little backdrop.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
This is in preparation for, we're actually thinking of doing live streams for our nightly news. Get more interaction with you guys, and so what'll happen is this will be the general format. We still got further things we're going to do. At the moment we've got one camera, but we're cropping. But to do live, we're going to have dedicated cameras, me and Oz, and maybe you have a friggin' hair that's pointing off in like... Get
rid of it.
No,
just grab it and go. Pull it away quickly.
It's so triggering.
Intimate moment.
It's still there! Oh, it's like really long!
What was that crack, though?
Alright, that'll do. Sorry, distractions.
You do things that trigger me, and I don't say a
know.
word.
Oh, bull crap.
You have a cow lick.
I do.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
As I was saying, we leave a lot of our gaffes in anyway, but live there'll be even more. And then we'll probably cut out individual segments for the individual videos that we can do a bit more editing, add images for context, and then re-upload as well. Help us in the searches. Because that's one thing that has been hurting us, I guess, in nightly news, is we cover a lot of topics, we can't fit it all in the titles, and therefore people can't find us talking about specific topics when we already have covered them, if they're not watching nightly news.
And there's all those people in the comments, I love them, they're saying, time codes, please. Well, no, we'll do you one better, we'll cut it into its own video, that way we get more views. Awesome.
Well, hopefully, we will see.
And because it's a live stream, you guys can give us more information on a story. You can
correct us on the fly, because we get things wrong. In fact, we purposely get things wrong.
Because we're not news.
We are not news.
Don't look at us like we're news.
I've also noticed a fly buzzing around.
I've been trying to kill it for the past half hour, but I just...
Nathan's job. Not my fault.
So yes, I think this format will work really well. Now, what are we doing here? If you've been on the internet much and you're interested in discussion on gaming commentary and whatnot, you've probably heard about a little event related to G4, G4 TV in particular.
What's G4 TV? I know what it is, but there's people who might.
Well, actually, before this whole thing exploded, I'd never heard of them.
What?
Really?
Not at
How'd
all.
you not heard of G4?
I'm Australian and
The
it's
type
not
of
on
the show, X-Play, it's on Foxtel.
No.
Yeah, but, we're not all rich folks that can afford paid TV.
Yeah.
I had free to
My
air
dad
most of
was
my
a
life.
lazy mechanic and he still had Foxtel.
My dad was against it.
We had a thing called Ozstar.
Oh.
Yes, which was like Foxtel, but without the Fox actual channels.
Okay.
But you got like Showtime and Nickelodeon.
Did you get MTV?
Cartoon Network. That's what. When Cartoon Network launched, right? They basically just got old school cartoons. A lot of Hanna-Barbera ones, which I wasn't a fan of, but some really old school cool ones, like I don't know. I can't even remember half of them now. Gargoyles, but that was
Accurate story.
But Cartoon Network got really big based on other, cartoons that were made, old school ones that were really good. Then they started making their own stuff and everything. But that was my pay TV experience. Never heard of G4.
Well, basically it was, they got a bunch of hot nerds, apart from Adam Sessler, on the television.
Even the guys?
Non-neckbeard nerds, how about that? As well as some hot ladies. There you go. I'm trying to be inclusive here, Shad. On the television, talking about pop culture, movies, nerd stuff, games. And it was actually really cool at the time because all you had was Banjo and Hex.
Well, that was my gaming commentary thing.
Same.
There was an Australian-produced gaming review channel called Good Game. And I actually really like Good Game in the original
pretty good.
days.
Yeah.
It was Australian. Of course it was cancelled.
Bloody ABC, that's all I can say.
Bloody ABC. But ABC has just gone downhill.
You don't like the ABC?
I don't like the television.
Okay.
I'm adamant about television, yeah, no, it sucks.
Barjo and Hex were great. Barjo's gone on to be a pretty successful Twitch streamer.
Nice.
All power to him. He was a genuine gamer. Like that's authenticity is what you needed when you had programs like this. It worked for Good Game. Seems to work for G4 TV. Never seen it myself. How did you see G4, Nathan?
I had seen it as this. I knew it was like gaming, pop culture related, but I never watched any of it. So like I'd heard about them, but I'd never watched.
My parents probably wouldn't have let me watch it. I'm just seeing some of the suggestive stuff that they happily lent into.
Well, that was only Attack of the Show. X-Play was different. X-Play was more just game stuff, but Attack of the Show, they did get a bit raunchy. Olivia Munn.
Woo. Well, this is an interesting and important jumping off point, right? Is because this the original form of G4 TV, and I've seen clips and stuff now after this thing blew up, clearly had a tone. Okay? Yep. Like, it was tongue-in-cheek, it was self-aware, but it also happily lent into we've got some really attractive hosts, we're gonna... And the hosts they were the ones who seemed to be pushing for it as well.
Yep.
They would use their assets to get some attention and to encourage being pleasing on the eye.
Yeah.
That phrase is going to come back on us.
Uh-oh.
It's like, they were happy to be... in fact, they would wear clothing purposely to be pleasing on the eye. I'm saying pleasing on the eye. Just that's the phrase. I'm going to say it a lot. Pleasing on the eye.
Hot.
But that phrase is going to be important. Pleasing on the eye. I'll say it again. So that sets a specific tone, right? Now, when they say G4 is coming back, would it be unreasonable for anyone who has enjoyed G4 TV content before to expect the same quality and style?
Not after all we've been through these past 2 years.
Yeah, true.
That's if you're aware of, like, generally, the general audience, you'd think they would be entitled to expect the same, wouldn't you?
Somewhat.
Well, the previous show set a tone and standard.
Yeah. Oh, it depends if they're like same hosts are coming back or get new hosts.
Two of them did. Adam Sessler and that other dude, I forgot his name.
Because if they're coming back, then yeah, I'd expect kind of the same flavour of...
If some of the show's success was based on having some very attractive ladies in there who are also fun people and know about gaming and things, people were probably expecting that same thing.
Yes, a naive person would. It's 2020. Demon
So-
World.
2022 was.
Oh, yeah.
It's been 2 years.
That's 2 years.
And here we come to the bit of a controversy. The relaunch of G4 TV does not have women who seem to compare visually or were happy to go out of their way to be pleasing on the eye for their audience.
Yeah, but furthermore, and the real issue with it is they have more of a problem with that fact themselves than the audience did originally.
It seems like that, actually.
Yeah. No one cared before you brought it up.
But I think there's been a number of commenters going out of their way comparing the new hosts to the old hosts. If you think that wasn't going to happen, you are naive. That's like, obviously they're going to be compared to the previous product.
But did you see Gundam's video?
Not all of it, no.
He went through. He said that he sat through the hour and a half before this rant twice, watched it, and there was none of that.
None of what?
None of what she's saying. There's no sexist remarks about looks or anything like that.
In the chat and things.
In the chat, none of that.
Really?
Yeah, and I trust Gundam. He's great.
He is. This is what I suspect. It was like a couple of edgy, immature comments of like, and it's just these kids, whatever, who just like to say edgy things to trigger people, but not very mature, and this is what they've caused.
I don't think so, man. At this point, like...
Well, you don't even think those comments existed? I think they do.
Look, at the very most, there might be a handful. And when I say handful, I mean, I'm in the low tens, you know? But... Because it seems like even one person saying one thing can trigger reactions like this from mega corporations.
I know, it does seem like that.
So, at this point, it might as well not exist. This is their personal reaction, you know? Someone might have said something as innocuous as, oh, this isn't the way I remember it. This doesn't look how it used to.
I do admit, they take comments that were not meant to be edgy or overly aggressive and then blow it into that. Like, if they just say, gee, I miss the old hosts, they were way better.
Yeah. Something like that.
And then someone reads... way better, and in their mind looking like, and they think I can see people going out of the way and pushing it to that thing. And what happened? I reckon I feel there were the edgy comments, but then all the other tepid ones, because they're already triggered, then they push into the same category, and there's all these sexist, misogynist comments and things.
Yep.
I mean, this is the other side. This is another thing to consider when people are comparing the new product to the old product, okay? Now, there is a reality in biology that Oz has to face every day he looks in the mirror. That some people are just not as attractive as other people.
I'm not offended by anything at this point.
I had to face that too when I was beardless.
You were beardless?
Yes.
When?
When? Yeah, good question.
Never noticed.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel back to normal myself now. Yeah. Anyway, that's the reality, okay? And if people think that others aren't going to react to that, they're naive. And the other thing is, if you don't think people use that to their advantage when they are genuinely good looking, you're also naive.
It's like a UFC fighter. If he's built and likes fighting people, he's going to be a fighter.
Yeah.
Like a sexy person's going to be a model or an actress.
So then there are people who they're not either end of the spectrum on the scale of how people usually
Just a normal looking person.
And then they go out of their way to not do themselves any favours at all.
I don't know who you're looking at here. Hey, okay, I might be the most handsome man.
I'm kidding!
But I got my fair share of fish fingers in high school, I'll tell you that.
What?
Oh, no, I don't want to know. I don't.
Can't even know.
But Oz, you're not that. Sorry, I was going to say unattractive. You are attractive though.
Oh,
Because
thank
you have a wonderful beard. You done your
Look,
hair.
okay.
Like that's the thing. I
You're
feel
not
like
the one for me, pal.
It's okay. I'm taken. Like attractiveness. Like there's some people who just no matter what, they can't get any help.
Yeah.
But a lot of it's just to like do with natural grooming. Like I know some friends who, if they just clean up a bit, they'd look decent.
Now I know how this poor girl feels. I'm kidding.
But you laugh it off. And this is the thing. If anyone thinks that guys don't get made fun of for their appearance, what planet are you living on?
Yeah.
It's just that most guys don't give a crap as much. Look, granted, less value societally is invested in males' attractiveness than there is for women. All right, women actually gain far more benefits of everything, and there's more invested in their appearance. It's the whole sexual marketplace thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, men usually attract women. Not appearance plays a part, but it's nowhere near as important for women. What's more important for men is status, competence, your ability to provide. Funny.
Humor is a big one.
But strength, you're like, you know, a strong man. Like if you take a guy that's not gorgeous, he's not Brad Pitt, he's a complete average, right? But if he works out and gets buffed as, all right, that can almost make him an 8 to a 10 in a lot of women's eyes, because the strength factor plays a large role in women being attracted.
Even if you've got like a lot of chunk on you and you're still strong and like you can lift stuff, that's enough.
Well, it's interesting. Something that really impressed my wife before even dating, we were just commenting, and I think I mentioned something about I don't know, my job, work I'm doing, things are a little tight. He's like, what? It's like, well, I'm waiting on the rent for my house to come in. And then she's like, hang on, you own a house? I'm like, oh yeah, I do. That really impressed her. I was like 22, and the fact that I owned a house, no one my age range owned a house, and it wasn't a great house. It was a dinky old thing, but I had a full-time job. And I had no dependents. I had this income coming in, and my dad gave me the best advice ever. It was like, buy a house.
To be fair, though, you did that in a time when it was physically possible.
It is physically possible now. It is.
Nathan couldn't.
It is, but it takes a lot longer to do.
You need to save up a deposit.
Yeah.
You need to be in a good market. Where we live is a great market, by the way.
It is.
Yeah. And so anyway, like if I was in the city, I wouldn't have been able to do it. But I said that. Really impressed my wife, and that's one of the things, like showing that you have assets, that you're capable of providing a stable thing, is a big thing. So, I acknowledge that for women, the fact that they are judged more harshly and scrutinised more for their looks, which they are, come on, it can affect them deeper than it affects guys. If someone makes fun of my appearance, and by the way, I used to be quite fat. Fatter than Oz is right now,
Just watch
and that
his
is
YouTube
saying
videos.
something.
Watch his older ones, as early as a year ago.
How chunky was I,
You've
man?
lost a lot of weight, man.
Like 22 kilos.
What? That's
pretty
a
good.
lot.
That's-
Yeah, my heaviest I was 112 kilos, and I'm down to. Well, I weighed myself in this morning. It said 90. So yeah.
Ooh, I don't even know how much I weigh.
And so when people want to attack me, like this is the other thing, right? People often don't mean what they say when they're trying to be mean. They just go for the lowest hanging fruit that they think that would trigger the person. And the lowest hanging fruit is the most obvious thing that they reckon they can insult them. And if they're fat, it's pretty obvious to see. So they'll attack you for being fat. Yeah. They attack me for being fat. We attack Oz. We do it because it's not true, and I don't think Oz is actually fat.
I am, and I'm not offended by it. It's just, don't be offended by things that are observably true.
And so the thing is, though, that I didn't draw value out of my appearance, especially with the content I was making, right? The fact that I was larger when I was making the content had no relevance to the quality of my product. The thing is, in G4 TV, they kind of did make that relevant to the quality of their product. Yep. They were specifically milking the appearance of the hosts to give it a boost. And now they have a new product which doesn't have that, so you're going to be surprised that any pre-existing audience that came over from the old one is going to be, this isn't what I ordered. I thought you were going to bring back G4 TV. Where's the sexy hosts? And this is kind of going back to the situation with one of the current hosts, okay? She can dress however she wants to dress, all right? But is there a line? We'll see. Like, she's not doing herself any favors. Like, she, in terms of conventional beauty standards, I'm not saying you need to show off skin or anything like that. There are modest ways to appear much more conventionally attractive than the fashion choices she's making. Let's be honest here about that.
I don't even think it's her. Like, I'm looking at her now. The issue is
her
haircut and attitude. Those two things.
I think the attitude actually frames a lot of people's perceptions of attractiveness.
For me, it does.
It really does.
Yeah.
And how entitled and condescending she comes off in this rant just compounds it, and people are going to latch onto that, and then we'll be criticising things that might have just been mild, tepid observations before, but now they'll point it out because you're in the dislike area and people aren't giving any charity at all.
Yeah, and not just that, right? But you go on the internet and you say, "Hi, these are the things I'm insecure about, and I'm going to yell at you for them." What do you think's going to happen? It's the bloody internet. Yes. You're just giving them ammunition for free. Yeah, and you attacked them before they did.
I mean, the other thing, right, is, for instance, our content. Our content is not vested at all in our appearance. My content on Shadowversity, when I was larger, all right, it didn't matter for the quality of content I was producing. I wasn't using or milking that.
Well, it did kind of, add evidence to the fact that you're a massive nerd. You were a more massive nerd back then.
Very massive. Right? You can absolutely make a quality product that's purely invested on the quality of the commentary. Okay? G4 original didn't. They tried. They had both, right? Current one. If you're not going to be giving the thing that other people liked previously, which was giving some attractive eye candy to go with the commentary.
But they were not just eye candy; they were funny.
That's important. Yeah. That's what I'm getting at. If you're not going to have that, that means the quality of commentary and the humor need to be spot on, because that's what you're trying to build the success on now, instead of adding in the extra kind of... Look, because if someone's attractive, it's not hard for them to milk it a bit to just look at, thoughts, right? It's like talent. Most of them are talentless, and they're just shaking their things, and they can make a huge amount. So it doesn't take too much talent to exploit your own looks if you got it. And if you got it, well, I think have a bit more respect for yourself, honestly.
And you don't even have to be attractive to be attractive. Like, there's this actress comedian lady. I don't know her name, but she is in no way conventionally attractive. But she's really funny and really, bubbly.
I had that experience recently. I watched the first season of the TV series Fargo recently.
Yeah.
And there is a female cop.
Yeah.
And she introduced, and she's not conventionally attractive at all.
Yeah.
The thing is, through the series, she is such a sweet, nice, sincere, competent person that I ended up just loving her.
Yeah.
Not like,
not like that, but
loving her as a character. Yeah. And she actually, when I was looking at her at the end of the season, when this other character is interested in her, I was like, I can see what he sees in her.
Yeah.
She actually became a more attractive person because she was so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, interesting show, the whole thing of Fargo.
Fargo's a good show. First season. All the other seasons are good too.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I'm going to get distracted maybe because I have thoughts on Fargo. Alright, so coming back to this, right? So then, if this is the new G4 TV, you better hope the commentary is good, that these are genuine gamers, and also that they're funny. That doesn't seem to be the case. In fact, they seem to be a bit more whiny, entitled, and then they go out of their way to get offended at certain comments very easily, are very triggered, and then attack everyone else, the whole community, for these singular comments. Oh boy!
It's not good.
It's not good. It's not. It's almost textbook way of like desensitizing, like disenfranchising your audience, making them dislike.
Yeah.
Like
Textbook in the sense that we're all used to this now.
well, it's all the same stuff, isn't it?
They should know how to avoid it pretty easily.
Oh gosh. You know, it's like a whole Captain Marvel thing, criticizing Brie Larson for her comments, but also Captain Marvel as being just a bad movie, and then everyone responds, they're just sexists and white supremacists, and all like, what? They were legitimately criticizing bad plot points, and your response is no sexism.
Yeah. But that goes to a larger thing of like industries, and it goes with gaming and movies, right? Where the industry criticizes the fans for the things that the industry is guilty of. Like, look at the sexism, like with the sexual abuse in Hollywood and now video games, you know? It's just projection. It's crazy.
Well, I mean, more has come out to show that Frosk, this host, but also some of the other hosts of G4, are awful people.
Oh.
Like, there's this other host, I forget his name, we might bring it up in text. He legitimately has said, like, all Republicans
Oh, yeah, Adam Sessler.
Adam Sessler.
Yeah.
Drink piss and are something, right? He even said that he wished his Republican family members to die.
Yeah, and he'd have a bubbly drink while he did so.
That's an awful person.
Yeah.
And I am reluctant to call people awful. I didn't even call Lindsay Ellis awful for promoting cancel culture and everything like that. Because you need to say legitimately awful things to show that this is a terrible person.
Yeah.
These comments wishing death upon people. Holy crap!
In the what's his name, Gundam video, he shows a clip of him on stage calling for doxing people. He even said, like, 12-year-olds who say naughty words on the internet. He called for doxing them. He says, yeah, you have your First Amendment right, but I have the right to put your name and address out on the internet. And do what with it?
And even Frosker said some really bad stuff, like in tweets and things. I forget the exact quotes. Maybe we'll bring it up in editing and things. So these people are not nice people. They're definitely not likable. And then, okay, there's been a lot of criticism about their commentary ability. Are they real gamers? Now, I don't doubt that Frosk actually plays certain games and everything. But then in this rant, she actually, well, we'll get to it, maybe. We're already getting a lot of discussion down, but without even watching the flippant video, I have a laptop here to review the video together. But she even admits that there are games she reviews that she hasn't played, and she's reading off a script that other people have made.
Yep.
And her point in the video is that you're criticizing me for doing that when the other guys do it too, and that just is outing the other guy. Then the people will then apply that same criticism to everyone.
Yeah. There was a case, I remember this specifically from watching X-Play back in the day, like this is 2006 or 7. There was a game that came out called, I think it was called either Red or Wet, I can't remember, but it was a shooting game with like a really hot chick who would go around slicing people up. I know, like that's how old this game was, right? They used to do that. And
there were heaps of them.
Yeah. And this review came out on X-Play where someone's like, yeah, I don't like it, bad game. And then it cut to the new host, and his first word was totally different in my mind, loved the game. Right? And so you knew at that point, and it was a very subtle thing, that everyone in this office played that game. And people had different opinions on it. But for this, it's all different people playing different games and other people reading it who haven't played it. Useless.
And what's sad about it, right, is it's a big, massive production. They have multiple writers for them, and they are getting out-competed by
Regular YouTubers.
Regular YouTubers that are more authentic, that genuinely play everything that they comment on. And that authenticity is what's going to attract a devoted audience, right? Oh boy, so why don't we just dive into it? Start watching.
Dive into the pile of crap.
But I actually want to talk about something so much more important than Red Dead Online. Sexism in gaming.
Sexism in gaming.
Yep.
Every example of sexism in gaming that I've seen, and this is she who will not be named going back into Gamergate days, right? Because I'll give them a fair go, let's hear the criticism, was laughably bullcrap. Like, they would criticize the fact that you could see Lara Croft's butt, but not Batman's butt, because his cape seemed to be specifically engineered to cover his butt.
They called it tactical butt coverage.
I couldn't believe it. That was the level of criticism. And, like, the takeaway was, like, is it wrong for guys to be attracted to women now? Like, that seemed to be the overall criticism, that anything that was in games that were made to show women as attractive, adding some eye candy, or sexist, is like, what?
Yeah.
It's completely hypocritical because they don't complain it at all when it's guys. Like, I mean, how often do you see Kratos walking around with a shirt off?
Well, that's his entire
That's his
character.
outfit always, right? I mean, and the other thing is, a lot of women like to be seen as attractive. I think Frosk, in particular, is very upset that very few people are finding her attractive. And then she goes out of the way that, like, because she says it later, as we'll get to, you know, the other female hosts didn't exist to be easy on the eyes for you, and they did. Like, they were purposely doing that.
Well, they didn't exist for that reason, but it was a nice perk.
And so, I'm seeing this being translated into modern games and TV shows where they go out of their way to make the women look not as attractive as they could. Like, let's go through some examples here. Mass Effect Andromeda.
No. Mass Effect androgynous.
Okay, because all the female characters...
Look like dudes.
And why? Because it's sexist for men to be attracted to women? It's like, what, do you want us all to be gay now? Come on!
That's a spicy take there, Shad.
Well, what's the alternative? I don't get it. It's okay for guys to be attracted to women.
Certain women.
Well, that's the other thing. I mean, if you're not, you have to be... That's the thing. If you're attracted to attractive women, and I'm talking about conventionally attractive women, you're sexist. You must be attracted to everyone.
Yes.
No.
Join our brave new world.
Guess what, Frosk? That you are not entitled to be considered attractive by anyone. You can't claim that. Sure, you might do the thing for some people. You're not doing yourself any favours with how you dress, okay? And no, I don't have to be shamed. Like, how dare you trying to shame people to, you must be... No, I don't have to. I thought personal preference, that's like trying to... Use the same logic. Like, could you imagine someone trying to shame a gay person to be attracted to a woman? I thought individual preference, just what you naturally are attracted to, was your thing. You can't challenge people's identity, and they're allowed to be attracted to whatever they find attractive.
Yeah,
Isn't that the talking point?
You're correct about all that.
Born that way?
Yes, you're right about that. But here's the thing. When it's white men, it's the opposite way. Because you can do whatever you want to your oppressor.
It seems like that, doesn't it?
No, it is that. It literally is that. You can do whatever you want to your oppressor, and the oppressor at the moment is white men, and it always will be, and always has been, apparently. So you can do whatever you want. Consistency doesn't matter, no logic, no principles, out the window.
This is why people are having such a problem with it, because what Frosk is saying is just another manifestation of this whole thing, sexism in gaming, and she goes on to say it, everything, it's somehow wrong for guys to... Now look, I think it would be mean to just make fun of her for her appearance, but I make fun of you for your appearance, I make fun of me for my appearance, and sometimes we just do it in jest. Okay?
I wouldn't even think about making fun of her for her appearance. I'll make judgments now because she brought it up,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to make fun of her.
It's too easy.
No, not that it's too... no, I'm being serious, right? I make fun of a lot of things that I shouldn't, right? There was a bouncy castle accident the other day. I made a joke about that on day one, okay? But I wouldn't make... I honestly don't see a joke to be made here. I mean, there's low-hanging fruit, but I'm not about that. You know?
It is. People have made fun of her hairstyle. Thing is, I could see that hairstyle...
On a golden retriever, yeah, I know.
No, I could see that hairstyle on Joe Dirt.
Even better. Okay, that's better.
No, I could see that I took it off other people. It's been going
Oh,
around.
damn it.
I
Well,
wish
your
I
dad
was
liked
so
it, though.
spontaneously witty. No, I could see that hairstyle on a more attractive woman easily. Okay.
I don't know.
No, that hairstyle, the scruffy kind of.
It's really 90s, isn't it?
It's very, mullet style, but
Yeah.
of course people can pull it off. I don't think she's pulling it off because.
Doesn't suit her face.
Oh look, not a fan of nose rings myself.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, I just no, like.
It can look good on some people.
Generally, I'm not a fan of many facial piercings. Like ears, of course, they're fine. Like I can find them attractive, but eyebrow, I can tolerate. But the worst place for me to put a piercing is nose and mouth. And guess what?
What?
I'm entitled to that preference.
Yes, you can say that.
And if you try and shame me for the preference that I'm just born with because that's what I like, are you challenging my identity? It's just.
Goes back to you're a white man. They can do...
But that's making her feel. I was like, no, I don't have to find her attractive, not at all.
Apparently, you do.
Right? Okay, what she's wearing. People have really commented on what she's wearing. Like that's where she seems to be going out of her way to not doing much to. We go out of our way to wear.
Oh, we go out of our
we go
way.
out of our way to wear these smashing cosplays.
Well, I chose this. It's like a peacock tactic. Like a peacock.
Yeah.
You ever heard of peacocking? It's like the pickup artists. They wear bright, bordering gay clothes to attract women. It's
What?
No, but I just also I like red, and this is very comfy. So, but okay. Here's the thing though. If you saw Emma Stone wearing that, she'd be fine.
Even with that hairstyle, maybe the nose ring wouldn't do her a favor. I think
It's just her attitude. That's all it is for me. I wouldn't think anything of it if she didn't have this
hang
attitude.
on. Let's go. The Emma Stone thing, right? It wouldn't be hard for her to look good in many things.
she's a...
But that outfit wouldn't do her any favors. There are thousands of outfits she could wear and look way better than that. All right.
Yeah, okay. But I'm just saying it's not something that I actively go out of my way to look for. I'm not saying you do.
And I think people are noticing this more because of the previous hosts.
Yeah.
They had that, and then they're given this. And I mean, people have been criticizing her. Like she's kind of almost It almost also feels that she's gone out of her way to mask certain aspects of her feminine appearance. Like she's trying to look like one of the dudes, okay? And I mean, usually I wouldn't have an issue about it. Like there are tomboys.
Tomboy, yeah.
But the
Tomboys
thing
are
is,
sought
it
after.
seems to just go right into that same annoying crap we see in the modern day of the attack on femininity.
Yes.
That traditional femininity. And that they're trying to push for women to act and appear more like men. And
for the opposite.
Funnily enough. And the odd, exception here or there doesn't mean a thing. But there's that constant push. And I think I'm also reacting to it stronger because it's like, this again,
More of the same.
And with also G4 TV, but look at what was previously, like the women that went out of their way to look very feminine.
Yep. Olivia Munn dived into a chocolate pie dressed as a maid.
Which one went to actual Comic Con dressed as Slave Leia?
Olivia Munn.
Oh, was it Olivia Munn?
Yeah.
I mean, and so people, you wonder why people react. There was that, and now they get this straight in their face, and they're like, hey, where's the woman?
And also, shame on you for not loving it.
Now, they could get over it if they just ignored all the immature comments about her appearance.
If there were any. But there's not.
Well, it's funny, we've only been commenting on it because it's brought up and she seems so sensitive about it, and then we're like, do we need to explain why certain people are bringing it up? Because she's like, how dare you for bringing it up? It's like, this is why we've gone into it. It's like, okay, let's just spell it out if you can't see it.
Well, wait a minute. If I'm on a TV show and there's a live audience that is optional, and I look at the camera and say, how dare you bring it up? Well, I feel like you've brought it up, not the audience.
Who would have... I still wouldn't have heard of G4 TV if this didn't happen.
Me
right?
neither. Well,
talk about
again.
Streisand effect, and oh wow, the worst thing about this, right? Talk about showing your enemy your weakness.
Yeah, exactly. Give him free ammunition.
Oh my goodness!
Not only did they show him the weakness, gave him the ammunition, and picked the fight to begin with.
It's unbelievable. I mean, trolls, you will never get rid of trolls. And it seems like she's trying to shame people to stop being trolls. And if you have any experience of the internet at all, you know that's their lifeblood. Your offence is their lifeblood. And so you've not only like antagonized them so much, you've given them all the ammunition they need.
Yeah.
And so now every comment about Froska's been like, people have been ragging on her appearance viciously. Whereas before, it would have been one or two trolls that no one would have brought it up. And, oh gosh. What a way to just ruin, like just give your enemy the power. Whew. All right, we'll continue.
In joining G4,
Slay Queen.
Oh my goodness. This is also another problem. The false, like, gratification. Like, what did she say? Like, that was actually praiseworthy. This
Let's
is
talk
like the
about
whole.
sexism in gaming.
Like, this is the whole F Trump. Like, no, it really is. It's like, I'm not saying of anything of true interest. So that makes you think. Did she say anything that was like, oh, an interesting commentary? She made a statement, and because it was in line with the ideology of her surroundings, you're one of the group. That's what the applause is. You are now one of us. You're a valid person. We kind of got into this a little on the Lord of the Rings thing about ideology, group identity.
Lord of the
Okay.
Rings,
And if they're not in the group, because one of the problems with group, prioritizing the group. Oh, and by the way, it's not to say that you can't identify with any group at all. I think a good metric is if you identify with a group that believes in the sovereignty of the individual. Okay? Because if you have a group that only believes in the sovereignty of the group, that means the group is willing to do bad things to individuals, so long as it supports the overall group, you know? The welfare, like, what's that saying? And Spock, you're dead wrong on this. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. And if you really follow that philosophy to the end point, it's like, okay, if we need to kill this person to save everyone else, even in an immoral way, like, and even when it's not justified, it helps the group, you know?
It's the trolley problem.
And yeah, and so it goes back into this, is like one statement, and then everyone applaud, like, it also creates such like, this is the mentality. This is why I think she's, you know, in one part, so entitled, is that so many people are just getting praised for nothing.
Yep.
She made a pointless nothing statement that doesn't actually truly exist. Like, how sexist are games really? If you're going to point out, oh, attractive women, no, they're not.
Yeah, at least wait for her to say something. What if I said, sexism in gaming? I get a round of applause. I'm like, it doesn't exist.
Yeah, let it finish the concept.
Yeah.
Like, point out a video game that blatantly says women inferior or something like that. Like, and this is the other thing. Sometimes you can purposely make a character that's sexist for the point of being, you know, not a nice character.
Yeah.
Look at Community. How
Pierce.
Pierce.
Yeah.
Well, he was a bigoted and he made many racist comments, and I was framed in a comedic setting.
Yeah.
But are you saying just because there is the existence of sexism and racism in Community that it's promoting sexism and racism? Like, people, they don't have any nuance or awareness or maturity. It's just so.
Just look at every single man there. Look how uncomfortable they look right now.
I know.
It's like, even Adam Sessler is just like,
oh, he loves it. I mean, look, I gave her an ovation.
no, but here's the thing. I feel like these sorts of guys, everyone in this setting is like, oh, this is a topic. Okay, I have a gun to my head right now. That's what it is. They have an ideological gun to their head that if they don't say the right thing, bam. I'm serious. It is literally that.
You know, it's true. Twitter will crucify them if they say the wrong thing. Like, that's the whole environment.
Yep.
And the other thing why I think their whole applauding is, like, you know, women oppressed. She's speaking truth to power. And because they wouldn't applaud to a guy. Let's talk about sexism in gaming. It's like, no, you're not allowed to talk about women's issues. But if a woman does it, and you know what? I find this so sexist, right? Like, I had this conversation once about, you know, what right do men have to, you know, comment on or have input into things that women have to deal with. And I was like, Okay, if you needed someone to give input, say, on legislation or things that might help women through pregnancy, would you rather me have input on that, who has been part of and helped my wife through 5 pregnancies, versus a woman who's never been pregnant and knows nothing on the subject? Who is more informed to talk about that subject objectively? Okay?
Well, an ideologue would say the woman who hasn't had kids.
But that's so dumb, right?
Yeah,
Isn't it? And then I went even further, like, what if the woman was stupid? And she looked at me like, no, women can be stupid, men can be stupid. You wouldn't want a stupid person in the role who's misinformed. Wouldn't you just, like, wouldn't it be better to have a smart, informed man talk about women's subjects than an uninformed, stupid woman?
Yeah.
And that plays in reverse. I would rather a smart, informed woman speak on men's issues. And there are women that I love who do it. Talk about Christina Hoff Sommers, right? Like, she talks about women issues. She talks about men's issues. She's a woman, she's really informed. Much rather someone like her speak on men's issues than an uninformed, stupid man. Because guess what? I'm not sexist. And people who think that you are just granted authority by what's in between your legs is a bias. Complete sexist. It's the whole thing. It's like, feminism attack men for having the men's clubs and prioritising men's opinions and stuff like that, but they don't apply it in reverse.
Well, now even having a men's room or a woman's room is problematic. But not just that, right? I've had this experience too where it's like I'm talking with someone who is a feminist and they say that feminism is about equality. We talk about, empowering men and women. Okay, so not only can you do it, but we're going to call it feminism, not egalitarianism.
Yeah. Or I ask, what is, give me pretty simple 3 issues that men face in society where they're discriminated against?
They're too violent towards women. They rape too many women.
They can't give the list, and there's objectively many. I've listed heaps. Yeah. I mean, look, if you're wondering, men are sentenced more severely for the same crime. They have a higher suicide rate. There are more homeless men, vastly more than women. Victims of workplace fatalities, vastly more than
family
women.
Court.
They get totally screwed in family court. They they are victims of violent crime vastly more than women. There's heaps of crap that men get discriminated against. And just slow down and think about given more severe sentences for the same crime than women. That is institutional sexism.
Even with the family court things.
And this is objective statistical fact. But of course, if feminism is about equality, why don't they give us stuff or even are aware of men's issues?
It's not about equality.
Exactly, it's not. I don't care. I've never seen a self-proclaimed active feminist actually care about men's issues or fight for the disadvantaged men's in. But if it's about equality, because the delusion that they're under is that men don't suffer at all. It's only women. And they
don't care. They know that men suffer. They just don't care.
Well, some do. Yeah.
No, that they just don't care.
No, I know some people who claim to be feminists they genuinely feel this is a good thing to do, right? And they're not being malicious in that belief, but they're completely unaware of men's issues.
Well, I've found that they don't care.
All right, let's continue.
This is not where I thought we were going, but I'm here.
They had no idea.
I'm listening. Yeah.
That was just like, oh crap. And I got to show support. And I'm here. But what are you doing? I'm here.
Destroying the show on its first thing.
This is just burning. Everything's burning around them. This is fine.
Yeah. When you turn a live stream about video games,
and they can't say, hey, this is way too spicy to even bother trying to. This will put a target on us. Thing is, though, is there anyone to actually push back against the obvious bull? When I say sexism in gaming, it'll be great. It's like, doesn't exist. One guy. There's only one there, right? And to have a debate on it.
They'd be destroyed.
Well,
No, not, as in a debate they wouldn't. But in Twitter they would.
In terms of cancellation, you can only be cancelled by the things that have power over you, okay? You can be self-cancelled.
Well, that's what I've said the whole time.
Okay.
Is just be louder than the people trying to cancel you.
That's what's so annoying about Twitter, is Twitter is so loud that they get the attention of the employees and stuff. If the employees just ignored all this bullcrap, this person is whatever, and it's like, he's a good employee, I know him personally, and he's a good person, screw you, shut up.
Yeah.
It would end. This cancellation bullcrap would end. The thing is, though, I bet these people, their jobs probably are reliant on how...
On Twitter, yeah.
Well, the thing is, though, they're getting raked over the coals for this. Yeah. I wonder if there will be, repercussions for certain occupations. No, because you can only be fired for the right reasons.
The
right?
repercussions will be people will make massive investments into this. They'll
It'll
attack the fans. It'll still fail, but people will be like, "Oh, support this woman," but no one's going to watch it. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, like they'll lose tremendous amounts of money,
Yeah.
and they'll continue to lose money, or they'll cancel it once again,
And they'll double down.
and they'll probably double down.
More of the same.
And so, if they actually at least have a balance of opinions, get someone who has some brains on there to push back against all the bullcrap.
No.
They'd never do that, right? And have a debate or something. And wouldn't it be great if there was like, just I don't know, some alpha trad, wife, like gamer girl there, to push back against. Like,
That would be nice, but we don't live in that world.
no, it'd just be hilarious to see the contrast and everything. I mean,
Who would become the most popular one, I wonder?
I wonder who would be more popular.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's just a bunch of clapping seals. It's all, everyone's agreeing. And this guy is like, I'm here for you, I'm here.
Yeah. So it's a good visual.
Yo, let's just.
Yeah.
I'm listening. Yeah.
In joining G4, I was ecstatic to be part of something that I grew up watching as a child. But
I would love to ask her about the previous hosts and the tone that G4 had. What's your saying there, Nathan?
She loved the show and like what it was, and she was excited to join it, knowing what it was.
Yeah.
But I feel like the next comments aren't going to be matching up with that statement.
Just like Kevin Smith was a fan of bloody He-Man. Just like Kathleen Kennedy's a fan of Star Wars.
Yeah, so
Just like 343 is a fan of Halo.
I would love to ask Frost, like, okay, what do you think about one of the previous hosts deep-throating a hot dog?
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, do you enjoy it? Do you promote? Do you say, yes, G4, good for doing that? And if it's good, would you then say it should keep going? And like...
Who doesn't love hot dogs? I mean, Olivia Munn does.
But every time G4 is brought up in various channels, even in this YouTube channel, we have the chat in front of us. I can see you. Without a doubt, there will be backlash because I'm not as bangable as the previous host.
So I can see, without a doubt, there will be. So there wasn't. She knows it. She's admitted it right there.
You reckon? I mean, I do feel at least one. Must be one, like more... The contrast is stark. Look at previous host, look at current host.
Yeah. But no one was thinking that until she brought it up. I trust Gundam. He is a worthy news source.
Okay. Right.
He said, I went through the whole thing, watched the whole thing, all the chat, for the hour and a half before this happened.
Well, this one, yeah, she's preempting that, but...
That's the thing, she's preempting it.
Yeah.
She created this
It's
monster.
like they want this sexism to exist,
Absolutely
because then they can feel virtuous in grandstanding against it.
Then their world was validated.
To her, this was her "you go slay queen" moment, standing on the soapbox. Look at me being. It's a massive virtue signal.
Remember the feminist in Red Dead Redemption?
She said she loved Red Dead Redemption. All right. Okay. So the thing is, she's saying like, there's comments saying that criticizing her for not being as bangable as the previous host. It goes back into the expectations that were established. All right. I actually can't really fault people having a pre-established expectation based on what G4 TV used to be, and then this is what it is now. And this is the thing. I don't think it's just her appearance at all. I think that's actually a minor thing. I think it's probably about how funny it is, how incisive the commentary is. They're not liking the show. They want to criticize it. So what are they going to pick to criticize that will get the most reaction?
But they're not
the lowest hanging fruit.
Yeah, but they're not doing that though. She invented this herself.
Well, in this specific one,
Yeah.
there is at least, you said at least under 10, probably people commenting on it.
No, but again, Gundam went through it and he said he saw none of that. And she even said herself.
But that was just for this stream though.
But
has he gone through every single stream?
No, wasn't this like one of their first?
No, they've been, this isn't the relaunch video. They've been doing live streams and other things.
Well,
Yeah.
anyway, but she even said herself, there will be. She didn't bring up a specific one.
Well, she's right, but the thing is, there's been a lot more since this happened.
Yeah, exactly.
I wonder why.
But even at the end, it's still something she created herself.
She's fanned the flames and made it bigger. I think it did exist, like in a small measure, and I agree that she's probably inflated innocuous comments related to that as well. If she ignored it, none of this would happen. And this is such a large reaction to what we all kind of agree is probably a very tiny little manifestation on the chats, the comments, whatever. Like, and so she's cracking it that how dare, and there's more to dive into this about. Oh, like, is she saying how dare you not find me attractive? I think she's more saying that how it's inappropriate to comment on the fact that I'm not as attractive as the previous host.
She goes over a lot of things. Who knows what she means?
Is it, like, let's break that down a bit. Is it inappropriate for people to comment on her appearance? I wouldn't, personally. I actually get annoyed by, especially if I'm coming to a review of something, I need good, insightful commentary. That's the quality I'm after. I don't want, look at my cleavage in the same process. That's just a distraction.
I go either way. Depends on the video, I guess.
To a married man, it's annoying.
Yes, obviously, because you're married.
Yes, exactly.
And I'm not.
And so, this is the thing. If Frosk would be able to present just as informed an opinion and was just as funny in whatever review she's doing, I'd probably prefer Frosk over someone who was obviously milking their appearance and flashing their cleavage and stuff.
Please don't use those two in the same sentence. It's very visual for me. You're triggering my double BTSD.
Were you breastfed as a child?
I don't remember. Either way,
You might want to ask your mum.
Either way, in the future, I will be.
Yeah, I know. Just the Freudian side of me might explain some of it.
Thank you, Shad.
Have you ever seen Loaded Weapon? It's a spoof.
Yeah.
And so, do you know the conversation I'm
Not
talking
so
about?
fast. What was that?
They're in the car, and the guy that's the spoof of Mel Gibson, what's his name? He was like the coach in Mighty Ducks.
His name is Emilio Estevez, brother of Charlie Sheen.
Yeah. So he's there having this conversation, and he just starts going, "My mother never breastfed me." I think it's their radio's on, and it's just for comedic reasons. It's getting broadcast over everything, and everyone's hearing it. Just started to laugh their head off, and this. Oh, anyway.
Classic.
I got distracted, but hey, look, it's something that was funny, right?
It's a good movie.
Funny movie. I'm not sure if it. Oh, I mean, if it's funny and it's meant to be funny, that does qualify it as good, doesn't it?
Yes.
Anyway, going back to that, right? Okay, so the appearance doesn't mean much to me in terms of what I actually want out of the commentary, but the problem, and this is why I've said it all again, G4 TV established a precedent, and the previous audience are coming back and they're wanting that, and so I can't really fault them for complaining about not getting the product that was essentially promised. If you're bringing it back, they're going to expect it to be brought back the way it was. Okay, it had sexy hosts in the previous iteration. Where are the sexy hosts now?
Can't have that now.
Why are they not entitled to complain about the implied promise of that?
Because it's a different world now.
And so, seriously, I'm not saying it's appropriate, because I think it's irrelevant to the quality of what I would be after, but Frosk and everyone on G4 TV, are you blind? You should be so aware of this fact and expect it, and then just... If you are then trying to say, we're trying to change G4 TV to be reliant, they're trying to be funny, but they're not. But if they were trying to be like, we're going to win them over with the humour and the commentary and not the sexy thing, you would obviously have to weather the storm. Just ignore the comments that you know are going to come and try and win the new audience over.
But Shad, everything that used to be goes out the window because now we have a thing called wokeness. And wokeness impacts all mainstream stuff now. I mean, look at even without her being... conventionally unattractive, right? The internet's words, apparently, not mine. Look at the people. You've got all the diversity that you can want. The only white guy there is Adam Sessler, and he's...
Really? I didn't even see that.
Yeah, look.
I'm going to go back. Oh, well, no, he's white.
No, he's Mexican. He's Latino. Hispanic, whatever you call it. I don't know what it's called. I'm not a Mexican American.
I'm race blind in certain instances, and I'm happy about it, because I don't judge people according to the colour of their skin. Or when I see a person, I don't automatically think, what race are they? I need to know to contextualize everything I say about them. I come off it.
The crazy thing is, Shad, the fact that you would say that would be, they would say, oh, what do you, look at how defensive he is. Oh.
No, I don't judge people according, what race they are is so pointless to me in terms of who they are as an individual. Are they worth watching? Everything, right? And so it's just amazing that, so you're saying that when you look at them, you can see this. Yeah, they're trying to tick the diversity boxes.
Well, yeah, because it's entirely woke. They're being completely unoffensive with their jokes. They don't have any of the classical raunchiness, sexuality, sex appeal.
Yeah.
And now they've got a woman talking about sex and why we're all sexist.
Yeah, and I think the bigger failing with G4 TV is not about the host. I think they're failing in a lot of other regards. I think people have been complaining about the review quality and the humour quality, and it's nowhere near up to the same quality as the original thing. And so you have a lot of disgruntled, annoyed viewers, and then when they want to express it, they go for the low-hanging fruit. And when Froska's on there, just look at how you dress, Frosk. They wouldn't be able to tease a guy for dressing like that, but there's a different standard, and that's just reality.
But I don't think they're doing that. I think this is something she's entirely invented. I mean, look at...
They are doing it now.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Well, now they are because she brought it up. No one cared before.
It's somehow...
Talk to him, Frost!
That was the follow-up to the I'm not as bangable as the previous hosts.
And he's like, yeah, you're right.
The thing is, though, I mean...
Good call, Frost.
It is objectively true. So there does seem to be an undertone of shaming. How dare... Look, I wouldn't bring it up as a criticism against her, okay? And she's blatantly saying, don't comment on my appearance because I'm not as bangable. But there does seem to be undertone of shaming of, how dare you think I'm not attractive? But she knows it. She doesn't even contradict that fact. When she says, because I'm not as bangable as the previous host, she herself doesn't say, which is wrong or untrue. It's she just moves on from that. It's like,
It has somehow been expected that you can talk about how much you jerked off to women as a compliment.
What?
So there are comments like that, and these are the edgy, stupid comments and everything. So back in the day, there was a game pop culture news channel on YouTube. What was it? It had 2 female hosts. I forget the name now, because they got overtaken, and the
Is
female
it
hosts-
SourceFed?
No, it wasn't SourceFed.
Because I watched SourceFed. I liked that, and that was good.
But anyway, those hosts got comment on, guys. It's such a dumb comment. The thing is, though, again, you expect pointing it out and drawing attention to it is going to make it stop.
It just empowers them.
What would be the appropriate reaction?
Ignore them.
Probably
It's that simple.
Yeah, I think that's it. And look, I'm not. It's a gross comment to make, and do you hang on? Because she's saying that it's somehow become appropriate to think that it's a compliment to say that they, pleasured themselves to you. Does she actually think that they were offering that as an unironic compliment? Because if she does, that wasn't a compliment. They were doing it to trigger you, obviously.
It's not a compliment, but it's not an insult either. It's just a gross comment.
It's a gross comment.
Yeah.
So, anyway. Drawing attention to it. Oh, yeah.
It's not a compliment.
It's weird.
It's weird. It is weird, and it's not a compliment. Well, hang on. Obviously, it's.
It's not an insult.
It's just a gross comment that people would say in friend groups.
I was watching Friday Night Tights. We're going to be on it this week, actually. Looking forward to it. Gary and the crew on Nerdrotic. And so I was listening to their coverage on this, and one of the guys, sorry I can't remember your name, mentioned, what would you rather, if you were on a beach and all your clothes suddenly disappeared, right? And it's talking in the context of a woman. Would you want everyone to look at you, or no one to even care?
Prefer no one to care. Well, if it was me, they'd be like, oh look, a whale. Beach yourself, get it back in the water.
It's just an interesting question to propose. I mean,
Yeah.
I honestly don't care and don't even want anyone to really be attracted to me apart from my wife. That's the only person who I really care about their view of my appearance.
If I saw a completely naked woman on the beach, I'd be like, oh, don't want to give them the male gaze.
But it is kind of going into the, thing. What would you... It's gross, right? But what would you rather? People who... For me, I mean, it's different for a guy, but this is the reality. Women do put more investment in their appearance than men do.
But are we guilty because they feel things that we can't control? No, we're not. We shouldn't have to shoulder the burden of the guilt of the world.
No. I've also mentioned the same thing. Like, how dare you shame people for what they're being attracted to naturally, and stuff.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's not our fault that people feel certain ways about their insecurities or whatever, you know?
No, it's not our fault. Well...
Nor is it our fault if some person on the internet says something.
We need to contextualize this, because this is where she's taking a few comments and then attacking what seems to be a whole community. Okay? We are absolutely not guilty at all, should be ashamed of anything, for the bad comments of other people. We should only be judged on our own actions.
Apparently
okay?
not.
But you can feed into and help stoke people's insecurities by what you say. That's true.
What if you stoke your own and then blame everyone else for it?
Well, then you would be responsible for that as well, wouldn't you? Because you should be responsible for your actions and stop blaming people for things that they had no part in, right? There's a whole larger discussion about attacking gamers for being sexist, and even just guys for liking women and attractive women in their games. It's like, what? No, it's not sexist, and all that stuff. All right, so
It's dehumanizing and
It's dehumanizing.
it's objectifying.
Yeah, objectifying, not dehumanizing.
Yeah, I think part of the process is seeing you as a person, unless they're attracted to weird kind of
Yeah,
other
haircuts.
things.
Weird haircuts.
But for most guys, they're attracted to the female form, and so if you... They're not jerking off to cats, is all I'm saying.
There are some people...
I don't want to get into the conversation.
Alright, what's a better analogy? Bricks.
Toasters.
If they have a brick fetish.
Well, I mean...
Or toasters,
Chloe
yeah.
Grace Moretz.
Toasters.
She looks like a brick.
Okay? Anyway, look, it's semantical, but we're going to bring it up. It will be objectifying.
Yeah.
The thing is, there's a larger discussion on the concept of objectification. Because guess what? It's not always a bad thing. Sometimes you want things purposefully to be objectified because they achieve the purpose you're doing for. Like, for instance, Mary Jane in Spider-Man. She served an important role, but she wasn't the focus of the story. The focus of the story was Spider-Man, great power, great responsibility, fighting bad guys, doing the right thing with his power, and I was seeing Spider-Man kick butt. And having an extension of that doing the right thing made it harder for him to get the girl, made an interesting conflict. To achieve that, you needed a hot girl for him to be attracted to.
Yeah. But at the same time, guys are saying, wow, she's beautiful, not, wow, that thing over there is beautiful. You know? Like, objectification, do you see what I mean?
Well, the other thing is, some women want to be attractive.
A lot. I'd argue that most
Most
people
women do. And some women go out of their way to appear attractive. And that's an act of actually trying to be objectified, seen as attractive by other people.
Some people are just very angry and actually go the opposite way, purposefully.
And look, of course there are things of where objectification is bad, okay? But there's a larger discussion, and so whenever someone says objectification wrong, it's like, it's not always. You need to know the context and situation, because the objectification of Mary Jane was absolutely appropriate and a very useful tool in progressing Peter Parker's story. Now, you can still go in and flesh out her characters, but at the beginning it wasn't needed. Mary Jane didn't need to be this complex character. They don't always need to be complex characters, okay? Sometimes you have a thing that just needs to achieve a purpose. This is why monsters are used in fantasy. Sometimes you don't need a complex villain, you just need a monster that likes to kill things to be the antagonist, okay? And monsters are obviously objectified. We never go into, actually, like, why are they doing this? They're trying to do that now.
Yeah. Well,
if you're the Sand People in Book of Boba Fett, they really try and humanize the Sand
they were
People,
doing
contradicting the lore.
they're doing a Mandalorian too.
Yeah, I mean, because you can't have just bad things for the sake of being bad. That's problematic. It's like, come off it.
Well, if they do it well, I don't care. But if it comes off as preachy.
But the original depiction of the Sand People wasn't problematic at all, because sometimes you just need a bad thing to achieve the role in the story.
Well, to be fair, were they bad? Like, some people do some pod racing through York neighbourhood. I'd shoot at them.
They kidnapped and slaughtered people, you know,
Well,
unprovoked.
is it? If it was their planet, like, again...
No, that's what they say.
No,
Oz.
but that's the thing, though. That's the thing. Complexity and how complex you make a story makes the story good or bad, and it's all about execution.
Well, my point is that you don't need everything to be complex. Sometimes you need something
Yeah,
simple
you don't need...
to not distract from the primary purpose of the story.
Yeah, but the primary purpose of the story will be self-evident, and whether they do it well or not is dependent
because
on them.
I'm not saying Spider-Man wasn't improved by fleshing out Mary Jane more. I think it was. But I'm also saying the original implementation of Mary Jane served its purpose.
Yeah.
They had a strict
I
goal
agree.
and everything.
Yeah.
All right.
And it's weird. Women do not exist to be nice on the eyes for you. Morgan Webb, Olivia Munn did not exist to be nice on the eyes for you.
Yeah, they did. Like, what do they exist for then? You tell us.
There are two things. First one, women generally don't exist to be nice on the eyes to you. And then specifically, previous hosts. Now first, let's address the generally thing. Both they do. Men and women exist to be nice on the eyes to each other because we are biologically engineered to find each other attractive, so we mate and reproduce. They do, actually. It's like...
Kind of how nature works.
Yeah, it's biologically incorrect of what you're saying there.
I just love how she's speaking for two other women. Like, I'm going to talk for you. I know what your opinions about
If
things
a
are.
man did that, that would have been the height of
Oh,
sexism.
yeah.
How dare you take away their voice?
Mansplaining.
Mansplaining, right? And this is... well,
What's this? They-splaining?
No, it's called nagging.
Oh, well,
The female name for women, female splaining, is... We've known this for years. It's just called nagging.
this is beyond nagging, Chad.
Nathan is looking like I just...
Oh, contemplating just my life.
Yeah, no, nagging is, when are you going to be home, sweetie? I miss you. This is, I don't know what this is, the wrath of a, have a bad relationship with your father? What is this? This is modern day colleges come back to haunt us? What's going on?
I mean, it's just going back to our comment. It's baffling. Women do not exist to be nice on the eyes. Obviously not solely, but obviously in part, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, take away, like, what? It's like shaming men for having their preferences in what they find attractive.
Nothing new.
And this is, obviously, she's, what's the term? She's projecting a bit here. Because what she's ultimately saying is that I don't exist to be nice in the eyes on you. I don't have to be attractive to you. And it's like, well, have you, again, goes back to the thing, previous established standard from G4 TV. Previous female hosts, that's what they were looking for. And so there was an expectation there. People were expecting you to exist to be a bit nice on the eyes because that's what the previous one was. And if you're not, well, you need to try and sell yourself on your other merits, then you're not doing a good job at that.
I was just thinking, they've got these two other guys, both of them are a little bit chonky. Neither of them are, handsome, really. Not even Adam Sessler. Nowhere near, gee. But they're not crying about it.
Yeah.
They're just sitting there like, oh, let's talk about video games. Oh, wait, the woman's talking? I'm going to shut my mouth and just agree.
It's clapping seals.
Yeah.
I'm happy to... If anyone thinks I'm nice on the eyes, I'll take that.
Yeah. Ladies, comments down below.
I mean, hey, I do my hair, I trim and everything, and I try and hide my face in shame when I don't have a beard. I go out of my way to be nice on the eyes to you guys. It's funny, actually, the whole recent beard thing, look, I'm not saying I went so far out of my way in the previous video to not appear my face, but it helped that it was just an audio-only video to let this fill out just a little bit, so I could hide my face in shame. Because I do care about my appearance.
I don't really.
Should. Yeah, well, that's
I mean,
No, you do though.
like
weak
what?
and pathetic.
Because every time before we do a video, you do your hair.
Yeah.
And you comb your beard.
I brush my teeth, but
Yeah.
it's not because I want to look good for the camera.
Then why do you do it?
For you guys.
To look good for us. Thank you. I
Oh.
appreciate that.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
It doesn't make more sense to me because I
Well,
see you
look, no, it's
most
like-
of the day without having
It's
brushed
like
hair.
I could get a haircut.
Well, I mean, if you just come in ready to film looking like a hobo, I will break you over the coals for it.
Well, let's talk.
Put some effort into your appearance, man.
Yeah, let's talk about hobo hosts. Huh?
So, obviously, the halo effect is a real thing, okay?
Halo?
Halo
What?
effect. It's the privilege attractive people get for being attractive.
Oh, okay. Well, don't talk about Halo.
I know. Not that Halo.
Yeah.
Because if that was that Halo, I would have been the same.
Thank you, Shad. It's a good meme.
It is, it's great. So, this really comes off. Like, the fact that she's actually saying blatantly false things comes off as true bitterness out of her own insecurities because people don't find her attractive.
Yeah.
And look, people could find you attractive if you put in more effort. Okay?
Even then, you don't need to put an effort. You just need to have a decent personality and don't be
Well, that's the thing. If your personality was actually better, yeah, and then some effort, that could actually really help you along the way. The personality is where it's just fails, right?
Criticizing a woman for anything, even their personality, is like sexism, you know?
Oh,
it is.
Yeah, I know, isn't it? Like, yeah, this is the part where it feels like your insecurities are coming on display here, because yes, biologically, women do actually exist to be attracted to men, and men. Guess what? Yeah, but less so for men, like visually. But there are other expectations, and they're not actually necessarily fair or easy to achieve. Like, is it fair that a guy that just has more stuff is more attractive to women than a guy that doesn't?
Yes.
What if he was just born with it, given to a freebie?
Still.
He did. What if you like? What if there were underlining character traits that he wasn't really productive or a good provider, and he just had the stuff and is attracted? Like that wouldn't be fair to a truly hardworking guy that doesn't have the stuff and that just appears less attractive because he doesn't have the assets.
But there's nothing about life that is fair.
That's true. It is. That's what the point I'm getting at. Life isn't fair. You got to live with the hand you're dealt with and do the best that you can with it. All right. But it seems like she's trying to shame people because her hand in the looks department might be different to other women.
And that is in some way her control. Like
she could be doing much more to help herself out. Yes.
Yeah, and not even the looks, just not
personality.
Being awful.
Yeah, stop being a condescending cow to people, all right? And attacking your larger fan base and grandstanding for virtue. Like, well, these are all, they don't make you come off very good here.
No, they don't.
And the other thing is, there are people that I feel, I bet, I cop it way more than her, okay? And yet, she gets a couple of comments and it's enough to make her snap and go off like this. And I wonder if even I cop it way more than her. Like, I get raked over the coals in many different things. I get lied about in a lot of, response videos and stuff. And, like, nunchuck haters, they hate me.
Such is life.
Yeah, I know. Don't worry. You'll get a girlfriend eventually.
I'm sitting right here. That's an insult.
He looked into the camera, Ozzy wasn't talking to you this time.
No,
the reflection
was
from the lens.
I was thinking of Ozzy.
Okay, let's just be clear here, right? You guys, you've gotten married, okay? I've done every other thing. Let's just be clear about that. I'm not proud of it, but I have. So if we're talking about experience, you still got me beat. But look, I'm not like... I might be amateur league, but I'm still in the sport, okay?
All things considered, I think you've done pretty good. Like, the fact that where you're living, your social circle, like...
The condition of the world.
The condition of the world, you're doing good.
The fact that I'm just single and not dead.
Yes, you're doing great.
Like, if I was in your same spot, I wouldn't have had the experience.
Oh, sorry, the other part. So that's the broad thing, but then she goes specifically to the previous hosts, which is like, okay, like, let's try and do a charitable thing. She's like, they don't exist to be easy on the eyes. That's not their whole identity. They don't draw every... Here is back.
You're just like, oh, it's not about looks, Oh,
your freaking faces.
Get it. No, don't pull it out. Give me some scissors, okay? Give me that box cutter right there.
You're going to cut yourself.
No, you're going to cut it for me. You can see it. Don't cut my face, thank you.
This is trust. Look at this guy. He trusts me with a blade this close to his face.
That's trust you can't buy. Well, I mean, he does pay me. So.
I'll vacuum that up later, don't worry, everyone.
Alright, so... And, like, how can she say that when... the previous host, look at what they wore, what they did. It's like, and then she's like, how dare you be attracted to the women that went really out of their way to appear attractive to men?
Even then, right, they weren't like 10 out of 10s in terms of like all women ever. They were 10 out of 10 for nerds, okay? They're, like, Olivia Munn was an 8 for just like an attractive woman. And Morgan Webb was like...
so objectifying, giving, like... numbering women's attractiveness.
Girls do it too, all the time.
They do. Haven't they done like a number list of which Avenger is the most attractive? They do it all the freaking time.
Yeah. See, guys, we will just have a room discussion about it. Girls will have a list,
and then
they'll rank it. And if he gets a haircut, maybe he'll go up or down. Like,
I don't care if I'm number 10 as long as
high schools, man.
No, they really do. You're absolutely right.
They do.
But it's okay when women do it. But sexist when men do it. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, rules for thee, not for me. Tim Pool's favourite phrase. He's
Like, oh my goodness. Do you reckon Chris Hemsworth doesn't exist to be easy on the eyes to women? It's like, in part, obviously he does. Like, do you reckon those topless Thor scenes were for the guys?
Endgame.
Who do you think they were, targeted to? Which demographic? Just wondering.
Even where he fought...
Obviously gay guys, well, that's what we want to talk about.
Yeah, but even when he wore a fat suit, he was the sexiest mofo ever. You know?
That dad bod, you know.
Yeah.
Wow, I must be super attractive.
Yeah, wait, let's see how I look when I take this fat suit off. Oh, wait. No, it's stuck there. It's permanent.
The double standard is just unbelievable. Like,
But Shad, it exists for every aspect of reality for these people. They don't have principles.
Yeah, but we got to point it out and reveal it. And when we show, like, look, she's complaining about, men objectifying women when women do it to men all the time. Like the most hunky men, we got Chris Hemsworth and Thor. Who's the guy that played Aquaman?
Jason Momoa.
Jason Momoa.
The producers got it now.
Easy on the eyes for certain demographics. No, how dare you? You're objectifying men. But no, that's okay. It's just men, right? The applause.
Hey, she cooking, y'all.
And that's just obvious sexism.
What?
That's just obvious sexism. So, the things that you talked about, I mean, the jerking off comments, right? That's crude and disgusting. Is it sexist, though?
No.
Like, so sexism would be the mistreatment or belief, or first it's like any type of belief.
Sexism would be judging someone based on their gender.
Hang on. When I say that belief that women are inferior, that also needs context, because I think there are many aspects in which men are inferior to women in certain roles, and women are obviously inferior to men in certain roles.
No, you're wrong. They
Any...
can't have women inferior to anything in terms of men. No, not a thing.
All right, let's arm wrestle.
So I just Googled what sexism is because I think she's a bit confused because it says sexism is prejudice, stereotyping, or discrimination typically against women on the basis of sex.
Typically against women? Would it be just against anyone for their gender?
No. It's typically against
women.
And therefore it's not sexist if it's against...
Thank you, Oxford Dictionary.
It's not sexist if it's against men, because it must be... Oh, wow. Yeah, the dictionaries are going down the toilet.
Oh, yeah.
First thing they invaded was the academics.
It's funny too, I can see the trend of the word. And it spiked in 2016 and then it's gone up since.
Makes you think. So, alright, discrimination on someone's gender, okay? The jerk-off comments, yeah, that would be something that I think women would receive almost universally
But it's not
rather
sexist.
than men.
It's gross and I wouldn't want to hear it said to any lady I cared about. But it's not sexist by definition. It's not a prejudice.
Well, I mean, the litmus test, reverse it. Would it be sexist if
No.
a woman said that they get off on a good...
It's called jilling. Jack and Jill.
Okay, gee, thanks.
Well, now you know.
That brain cell could have been used for so much more.
There are some things I don't want to know, Oz.
Hey, we just read from the dictionary. I've given you mine.
If it's not considered sexist in reverse, then it's simply not sexist. And so the question is, would people think, yeah, it's sexist for women to do that? Okay? And so then there's the blatant sexism about the easy on the eyes stuff. The easy on the eye thing was an extension of the comments on her appearance. But anyway, that was the a blatant sexism, okay?
Yeah.
And that's just obvious sexism. You don't need to explicitly objectify women or declare that you hate women to be sexist.
What do we have to do then?
Here we go. This is the unconscious bias. The you're sexist even though you don't do anything overtly sexist thing. This is such bullcrap. This is where it really comes into people like this want there to be sexism so they can be victims and they can be seen as virtue signaling when they are to get on their soapbox just like this. Is like if you start literally creating sexism out of nothing when there's actually no overt signs and you go into this bullcrap unconscious bias, this is where you're like, no, well, you lost me already, but this is you'll be on hope always. It's like, come on.
Well, that's the thing. They just want you to be guilty.
It's like, you don't have to be sexist to be sexist. Like, you don't have to steal to be a thief. You don't have to lie to be a liar. You don't have to murder to be a murderer. You don't have to commit acts of violence to be violent against me.
Well, words of violence, Chad.
Exactly, words of violence, right? This is how they twist to, they want to be offended. They want to be assaulted violently, but no one's doing it physically, or rarely ever, that therefore your words are violence, which also justifies me to react with real physical violence.
Yeah.
It's utter, it's escalation. It's like, I want you to be sexist so much, I'm going to create the sexism so I can attack you and hate you for it, just because, it's almost like just because you're a man. You're attracted to women, that's unconscious bias. You're objectifying women, just male gaze, just because you are attracted to women. You're sexist, and I can hate you for it. What a disgusting way to create discord in society and subversion. And like, if you want to talk about trying to subvert like the stability in society, look at this unconscious bias bullcrap and how they literally ascribe it to innocent people and then justify in their minds calling them sexist. But this applies not, they do it with racism, they do it with
every form of
every
ism that exists.
Yes, yeah. The unconscious ism that you do just because it's you.
Yeah, and it's their entire business model. They can't exist without it.
Stand it.
They just do it for power. That's all it is.
Like this, like, if nothing has convinced you, this shows this person is an utter ideologue. Like,
yeah, no doubt.
Like, and she's loving being the victim, I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then she's like, I'm getting attacked and everything like that. How could you say I love it? Look at all the attention you're getting. You're getting all this sympathy. Look at the clapping seals all around you. Are you telling me you didn't love that validating moment of all the people supporting you in your moment of, pushback against the bad thing? You need the bad thing, so you'll inflate it when it's there, create it when it's not there by accusing of unconscious bias, and then you get all this support and validation, which you wouldn't get. I
want to take it one step further though, because I've experienced this for a long time. I think again that is the surface level take. Mm-hmm. Back in the communist days, the police who were wearing blue uniforms just like that would go around, take a random person off the street, and be like, you didn't clap long enough when Mr. Stalin's name was said. You're an anti-revolutionary. Implicate these people or you're destroyed. We'll send you to prison for 10 years. And they taught you until you did it. And they did this not because they were trying to be good to the state, they were trying to uphold the state, they did it because it felt powerful. And again, this is exactly why she can point at everyone on the internet and say, you're guilty of this, this, this and that. It's the exact same thought process.
To get a power trip.
Yeah, because power feels good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so does hurting people, apparently.
And I think the weakest type of people are the ones that opt for that tactic. And they do it almost subconsciously because they can't get power regularly because they're weak. They can't build themselves up, get support based on their own talent and merit. No. So they gotta play the victim, everything like that, and accuse others of the evil, bad, tearing other things down to your own level and all that stuff.
Yep.
Just go ahead and check out Thorne's latest Meltdown on Twitter for some spark notes. Now, here at XPlay, our reviews are written and produced by a team of people. There are too many games for one person to shoulder the burden. So we divide and conquer. And when we...
So we divide and conquer. Finally, some honesty.
No, she's saying that...
yeah, I know, but it's a Freudian
basically, she's trying to... justify the fact that all the reviewers don't actually play the games. We have to none of us can shoulder the burden by ourselves. Really? Because there's a lot of YouTubers that do.
Why not put them on screen? If they don't play the game and they've written it.
Yeah, exactly. But they'll say, they don't have the rhetoric or engagement.
Oh, they're not presentable. Neither are you by your own definition.
Right. And so this is all cope. It's like, but the underlying point she's saying is that she gets criticised for not playing the games, where the guys who don't play the games don't get criticised. My first, and ready, chill.
And when we use language like we or I, that's the reviewer. That's coming from the mouth and experience of the reviewer.
I thought it was just her pronouns.
Hang on, to me that's like justifying complete dishonesty. Because she's saying that when we use things like we or I, and she's using the context when she, like in a review, I really like this in the game, Okay, she's trying to justify it because someone wrote that and it's them saying the I. But if you, honestly, when you sit on camera and you say, I really like this about the game, who do you honestly think the viewer is going to think you're talking about? Come friggin' off it!
Yeah.
They obviously think you're talking about yourself. That is so dishonest, and the fact that she's trying to justify it is despicable.
Yeah.
It's like, no.
You can write it without using the words we or I.
I was going to say that, yeah, you can just...
Like,
there's
you can make objective statements.
ways of just saying, oh, the game didn't feel this way because of this. You
Yeah.
just say, I don't like this because it does this, and we believe that this is a good thing. It's
You
like,
are
just
absolutely
take those
right.
out.
You could take the possessives, I think that's where
Yeah.
you actually identify and speak generally. The game does this well, the game does this bad, it's really effective in this. Many people find it engaging in this. There are so many ways to then present a review and not present it like you're the one who gets all the credit or did it all yourself. And so they've actually gone out of their way, you're right, to use those things to give clout to the actual reviewer. They want to establish the hosts as these gamer bros, right? Look how she wants to be a gamer bro. Just look at how she's dressed,
I don't
right?
know what she wants to be.
Even though Olivia Munn and the other one, they were, gamer bros in a sense, but they were in a different kind of bro
They were
culture.
gamer girls.
They were gamer girls?
That's not a gamer girl.
True gamer girls?
She is not a gamer girl. I hope she is her pronoun.
Like-
I don't know.
I can't believe that she's so self-righteous about this when she's revealing blatantly the dishonesty that they use and practice, and then it's all wrapped up in this thing where, why are you attacking me for it when other people do it too? This is the whole, so-and-so pushed someone off a bridge as well. Why are you attacking me for pushing off a bridge?
Oh, you want consistency?
Well, guess what? They're going to attack them for the same thing. It doesn't excuse what they were attacking you for if it's valid. And by the way, when they say they attack you for a certain review, how do you know it's the fact that you're a girl that they were... What if they don't like your delivery versus the guy's delivery?
Yeah, but it's
What
the
if they
same
just
thing.
they find the guy more charismatic than you? And there's other objective things that they're disliking, and then it seems her takeaway is that, no, they just dislike me because I'm the woman doing it. When the script is objectively the same, when someone else was to deliver the script, they then must like it the exact same level as if I delivered the script, because it's the same script. No, delivery and charm and everything else has a lot to do with delivery, and judging by your attitude and things like that, and, so... there was a skit that they tried to do before this show started involving dry humping on a kid's car thing. Wasn't funny at all. If that's
the
the
League of
level,
Legends one, yeah.
if that's the level of your comedic talent, I could see why people might have a more negative reaction to your presentation of the same script versus someone else. Just saying.
And also, that was a Freudian slip, which said that's how we divide and conquer. Yes, you conquer through division.
So I've just read something about her. I've learnt that she used to be an announcer for League of Legends tournaments, and that's where she got a lot of hate as well.
Because she has. I've heard that she has a reputation for getting things blatantly wrong in commentary and review.
Yeah, and so she's gotten a lot of hate, which I think is where all this has come from.
Well, actually, good point. Okay, because you already have a reputation of getting things wrong, regardless if the script is the same between someone else saying it and you. People are going to be more attentive to what you say because they distrust you. And so they will be listening to pick out those things more so than if someone else was to deliver and said the same faults in the same script because you have a reputation. That's not sexism. That's the fact that people already know that or feel that you do a poor job in what you do. And they're more defensive, on guard against it. But no, it's sexism.
It's just so heartwarming that, Shad, you're still on the phase of these liberals, these progressives, they're so hypocritical.
Good. I will be like that. I'm not as black-pilled as you, Oz. I'm not ready
Yeah.
to let the end come.
Shad, this is the pipeline. I'm at the boss level, man.
I'm gonna be with people, and I think the genuine reaction helps in people that are learning about it for the first time as well. So, wow, there's just, this whole thing just gets worse and worse for her, and what she's saying is just falling apart.
I disagree.
But
I think it's going to get better for her.
you reckon? Oh, she's going to get more support from the side, which is,
that's exactly it.
yeah.
Once,
and she's farming for it. This is actually a signal to ideologies.
Yeah.
And she's a woman. She's like, victim.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like warfare. Doesn't matter who strikes first. Everyone's already got their sides drawn up. And so once one side is against another, then the other side is
I
against
bet
them.
there's actually a good number of people that, just like G4, originally good content, they weren't aware of all this thing, and suddenly G4's back. What? I'm getting attacked and being called a sexist?
No, they're already there. They're on the internet.
Well,
watching
if the
videos.
gamers, yeah, if they're gamers, they would. The whole Gamergate is.
Yeah, Gamergate never ended. It just expanded into the rest of society.
So yeah, just reiterating that point, is like she's like, just because I say the same script and get attacked for it, it must be sexism. When there's actually a lot of other valid reasons that explains it. But no, it must be sexism. Why? Because men are bad.
So
My
define
audience
characteristic.
bad. What do you?
Okay, I've done some research on her now, and this isn't the first time she's done this either.
Oh, really?
She's done commentary for league tournaments and stuff, being a caster, and then someone will say something, or she'll slip up, and then she'll do a little speech like this. Or if they'll do like a Reddit post of her and why they do or don't like her, and she would personally comment on that and do whole paragraphs of.
Oh,
So,
a liberal posting a paragraph?
This is not her first time.
Oh, of course, like. Yeah, they get what they deserve. They've made their bed. You should be very well aware of the type of people you're hiring for this. And the thing is, though, there is investors behind this. Who's actually owns G4?
Isn't it like CNN,
No,
CBS? Or
Comcast. I
something?
don't know. It's like, and it's so interesting. Like, this is one of the most disingenuous. Like, this shows that you really have no spine when. There's a type of valid criticism that's thrown your way, and the response is, they're only doing because they're sexist, instead of actually taking on any valid criticism and trying to improve yourself. What happened when was that female tennis player? She got given a foul or something like that by the ref.
Was it Sabrina Williams?
I think, and then she went in this whole thing that is sexism in this thing. Like, it was so blatantly just. It was like, no, you can't be guilty of an actual foul in the game. It must be the sexism. Oh gosh. Now, look, it does make me wonder. Okay, men cop criticism. I cop criticism, right? And have I ever seen a man who's cop criticism say they just hate men? It's sexism. Like,
No, you haven't.
I don't think I have.
You've never seen that.
So there seems to be a general trend that this is a more representative reaction that women have to criticism.
Well, women typically are more progressive than men.
They generally are, but not all women.
I'd put it up to the progressive thing, not the women thing. But women are more progressive, so there you go.
And look, let's be fair, okay? In terms of natural reactions to certain things, it is more common for men to react violently if there's a situation that can be pushed towards serious conflict, men will more often react violently than women. But there's reasons for that. We're actually engineered to react that way, okay?
Yeah.
Well, also, by the way, I'm not saying that men are inherently more violent. I'm saying they'll react violently.
I think we are.
No, because I think women can be just as aggressive, okay, and want to get back at someone as much as men, but it's how you express it.
Yeah, but violence
is
isn't
different.
aggression.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
You said
I
violence.
agree, violence is an aggression, you're right. Sometimes violence can be done in a very non-aggressive but rational way. But what I'm getting at here is the fact that in terms of conflict resolution, okay, women can have just as many issues and have like anger and with other people, all right, but the way that they go about it is you use whatever tools are naturally available to you to do it. Men, on average, obviously, are much stronger than women. There's a very easy tool we have to try and resolve conflict that we can resort to.
With each other.
Well, yeah. And more often it is, like, men are far more willing to be violent against other men than they're, like, men, all this, physical violence against women, the reality is, nearly across the board, I know there might be exceptions, okay, but nearly across the board, nearly every man is far more reluctant to be physically violent to a woman than they are against a man, okay? There's a general standard understanding between men that if you cross certain lines, it can get physical, and I'm ready to stick it into you.
That's
Bad use of words. It was an expression from the saying to get stuck into someone to win the fight. I admit, very poor reframing of words to change stuck to stick.
Oh, that's funny. What were you going to say, Oz?
what I was going to say, before I got worried about Shad, was that's why men invented respect. Because respect is a place between love and hate, where it's like, okay, the final straw between us is violence. That is the leveling thing. That's the thing that settles disputes. So they invented respect so they don't have to be violent.
And, you know, interestingly, women are far more willing to be violent against men than men are to be violent against women.
Yeah.
Because
we're told not to do
So,
it.
guess what? There are, like, police statistics and stuff that people looked into and everything. In terms of initiating violence, women are more guilty of initiating violence against men. Men are more guilty against causing physical injury against women, because when men are pushed to being violent against women, well, it results in injuries because men are stronger. There are many cases of women trying flat out attack men to the height of their ability, and they don't even make the guy flinch. We've seen cases like that where you see this woman just losing it, going off, trying to do all this stuff, and the guy just holds up his arms and like, back off, lady.
Yeah.
Okay. But if a guy snaps to that level where he's ready to just lay into someone, well, different results happen.
Yeah.
But if you want to talk about equality and everything like that, women initiate violent, interactions with men vastly more than men initiate it with women. But a lot of those, like, how often do women feel entitled to give a man a good slap across the cheek?
Which one?
Like, Nathan's. This is a trope just in human society, and it was very common and accepted that if a man crossed a certain line, a woman was fully entitled to give a full palm slap across the face. In what condition that's equivalent in any measure says that it's okay for a man to do a full strength as much as a woman puts their strength into it in terms of percentage ratio to hit a woman to that level against a man? And,
if she's trying to stab him, I guess.
Yeah, it has to go to that level.
Yeah.
Like,
even then, the feminists will come out like, "How dare you?"
Yeah.
You could have just ran.
Yeah.
Right. Now, by the way, I actually think this is an appropriate standard because men are stronger and women are more delicate on average. And so men need, great power. This is why Spider-Man is such a good lesson for men. Great power comes great responsibility. These young boys are going to grow into men and they're going to find that they actually have aspects of their physical thing that are powerful, vastly more than women, and they need to be taught to use it appropriately. And also to realize that the reality is, yes, women are more fragile physically than men, and you cannot hit a woman as hard as you can hit a man and expect the same outcome. Okay? And so that's the reality, and so that's why it was like this society has naturally engineered this standard that it's not right for men to hit a woman. I think it's a great standard. Hold it, unless they really are
trying to seriously hurt
seriously
you,
injure you. And if they're trying to actually injure you and and showing the capacity to do it, yeah, every man is perfectly entitled to hit that down. Okay, protect yourself. Okay, and that's the thing. But the general standard of never hit a woman. Of course, okay? Even when they hit you and are attacking you, if you have the capacity to just render them, a not threat without actually hurting them, and most men do have that capacity, that's the first option. And that's the standard that should be encouraged, okay? And guess what? This is important because men and women are different, and so this is why there's virtues in traditional masculinity, traditional chivalry and things like that, but that's what's trying to be subverted, okay? And look, I admit that there are negative things that can grow out of that, because I think the fact that men are willing to be more, tolerant of women attacking them and everything, it goes into the thing that society is usually more tolerant of female crime because they get lesser sentences than men do, and that's not good. I think the crime deserves equal punishment under the law if you want real equality.
I've been punched in the face by an ex-girlfriend before.
Yeah.
Did I deserve it? Probably. Made a post on Facebook that wasn't like very bad. I didn't say any rude words. I just laid out my side of a story. It was a bit of a love triangle.
Okay.
And yeah, I got punched in the face the next day for it. I just put my hands up, and then her friends pulled her off me, and that was that.
Yeah, and
it's kind of hot to be honest.
And I bet many feminists would say, "Go girl," because it's okay to be violent against men.
Slay queen.
And this thing, I still agree with the stand that men should be obviously vastly more reluctant to be violent against women, but that does never excuse women enacting violence on men. It's always inappropriate, and I think the fact that
not always. Sometimes violence, like if a guy says something really, really bad, then...
No, I think that's where we should push back against the double standard. No, women... No.
Call me old-fashioned.
I agree. That is the old-fashioned thing where, a woman can slap a man.
If you go up to a woman and call her a whore, then yeah, she should be able to slap you.
What if she was a whore?
Well, then that's still really, really rude. What if she's a classy one, you know?
What about the thoughts?
Still.
What, they...
You shouldn't just go up to... If a guy came up to you and called you the C word... Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, you're a cunt too. No, but like, if you walk up to a woman, like, what do you... If someone did that to a woman that you cared about, you know, that you liked...
See, that's different. That's different.
Oh, it's different now.
Of course there's context.
That's what I'm saying. Like, everyone is someone's mother or daughter or sister.
No, I'm saying that some women obviously can act very badly, and if they're overtly acting like that, sometimes they might deserve to be spelled out there.
Yeah,
like,
sure. But there's the context. Like, if you walk up to a woman on the street and call her that, she should be able to slap you.
No, see, I think with the way society is now, like, no. Like, if they are being so aggressive to a lot of certain standards that are unfair and everything like that, no, they should be held to that same thing.
Well, we don't know this lady's stance on it. But this is why we have respect, because if respect fails, then there's violence. That seems to be the case with society. That's the social contract. Like men, respect each other, or there's the other option.
Men understand it in a very kind of physical way. Women are different. They have they react in conflict, and they resort to the tools that they have available, and that's why. And so women can often resort to violence against men because they know there's a social protection against them, that if they slap a man, there's a very high chance he won't hit them back, because the man knows if he hits them back, they're going to hospital.
I've gotten in fights, though, just from looking at someone for too long. Like, I'm walking down the street, we cross eyes, and that's it. We're on, okay? But, like, if a guy walks up to a girl and calls her a whore, she's entitled to slap him. Call me old-fashioned.
That is an old-fashioned sentiment. I think in the modern day, no, like, we should be just as firm to that.
But why are guys allowed to do it and women not?
What about allowed to do what?
Like, if two guys are the line of disrespect is crossed and they can fight, why can't a woman slap a guy when he crosses the line of disrespect?
Because the line is so different to reach that level.
But we want equality, don't we, Shad?
No, that's what I mean. It's like, if a guy would never hit another guy for being called a bad word,
but he
right?
would. He would, though.
Actually, some would, yeah, you're right.
No, I have been in those situations.
Yeah.
Just walking down the street. Especially when I was when I was losing my mind a bit last year. Like, it happens. You know, especially in high school. I got into a massive feud because I was walking down the corridor. The guy wasn't looking at me, but I thought he was. And we got into it, and that spurred a huge thing. That's what I'm saying, right? Guys fight because the line of disrespect is crossed.
Well, I don't think it's good that guys... I think
not good.
In any instance, it's bad to resort to violence when it's not called for. And for me personally, it takes a lot to push me to be violent. I have been, and I put them in
but you were raised Christian, Shad. Yes. I wasn't, and neither was any of the people I grew up with.
Yeah. But we should try and push all people, women included, to resort to violence in only the most extreme of circumstances. And just being called a name, no. And I'll call out a woman for slapping men, especially when it's uncalled for, especially if a man would never hit a woman in the same context. That is sexist, and no, it shouldn't be allowed.
But for me, it's if someone said it to my mum or my wife or my daughter or anything like that, if she doesn't get a good hit on him, then I bloody well will. And I feel like it's completely justified either way. Because honour's a thing.
We shall continue.
Reading that review. And that's not to say that Gerard, TBH, Adam, or myself don't contribute to the reviews. We absolutely do.
But not always, it seems like. And not for the whole review. You just contribute. Maybe, what is that level of contribution? I'd love to know. What do you think? Yeah, I played 2 minutes, it's okay. and everything else is written by someone else? Does that entitle you to take credit for the whole review and say, I did this? No, it doesn't.
They're willing to take, credit for everything else, so why not the script that's written? Tell us who wrote it then.
Yeah, well, that probably does have credits in the after credits, maybe. But
yeah,
I
who's
still
watching
think,
those?
Yeah, right. I still think it's very dishonest for the presenter to just say I did X or I feel X when it's not their words. And even if they think this is how it was done back in the day, no, the standards changed with YouTube.
It wasn't done.
There's a level of authenticity nowadays where. We've seen people who actually play the game give honest reviews and how much better quality it is when they have first-hand experience, and that's what we demand now.
And then one of these companies steals their script for what they reviewed.
But it'll always be in varying degrees and take a whole team behind us.
Your content takes a whole team?
That's pathetic. If this is the quality of content that's taking a hold, see, like, YouTubers are beating you. Single people.
Well, I mean, look at her. She's clearly single. There you go. That's my one insult.
She's probably not, you know.
That's why we're X-Play and not Adam Play.
So, you're saying you wouldn't be called X-Play if it was a single, like, you can't call something, like, that's just dumb.
Just the X, like, is there a number that's meant to be in front of that?
Is it like X-Men?
Nah, but just trying to say this is a team effort. That's why it's not about one individual and stuff. It's like, no. You could still be called X-Play and have more honest, genuine reviews by people who played the game and put, you know, that side of things in. And yeah, I will say put more effort in. Okay?
We have done the experiment and control.
There's the clapping
He's
seal.
literally doing the clapping seal meme.
Look.
Unironically, though. That's the scumbag guy, I think, that was telling his Republican family members to die.
Well, he knows it himself. Look at that poster in the background. Welcome to the cesspool. Yes.
For the variables. Adam will read a script written by the same writer that I will read the other half of the script for, but I'll be the one flamed.
I think, you know, we already addressed it. Nathan had a great point about previous reputation, people being more defensive about what you say versus having their guard down for other people, being aware of it and everything. It's not like she's just blatantly saying, it's because I'm a woman that it's unconscious bias. I don't think she would ever give this concession again in reverse. If a guy ended up getting criticised or flamed because his delivery wasn't as interesting or engaging, it doesn't affect her. She wouldn't automatically go to sexism if a guy was getting more criticism than the heat of the woman.
And yeah, it also happens to Gerard and TBH, but that doesn't discount the sexism of how it happens to me when it does.
He's shaking his head. He's like people's bodies don't lie, even if their mouths might. You can see in their body language, the other guy's sitting there like, I won't say a single thing. Mm-hmm. And this other Gerard, what's his name, Gerard?
I don't know.
Shaking his head, moving back and forth, very uncomfortable.
They all look very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And didn't she just say that, like, even though they get criticized, it doesn't, like, distinguish the fact that I'm getting, like, stuff?
She's trying to say that they all read the same script, but actually, when she says it happens, let's actually
go back a few seconds.
That's why we're X-Play and not Adam Play. We have done the experiment and controlled for the variables. Adam
controlled for the variables, like as in the delivery, people just disliking the delivery of one presenter over another. Did you control for that, or the fact that this Frost person has a very bad reputation online? Like, you looked it up and it confirms, because it was actually mentioned in other reviews and reactions I've heard to this, that she has a reputation for giving really bad takes on stuff in the League community,
as well as being objectively wrong about things.
And so, did you control for that variable?
I think with the writers, yeah.
will read a script.
Yeah, but not for the audience reaction. Because if she has that reputation, the audience will react more aggressively if they find things wrong, but also be more on guard to question what she says.
Script written by the same writer that I will read the other half of the script for, but I'll...
What if your half of the script just had the errors in it? Did you control for that?
I have no idea, but that is a based writer if he's doing it on purpose.
Sexism. Horrible sexism.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if you were purposely doing it to make the woman look bad, yeah, it would be sexism.
See, that's sexism right there.
Yeah. So is the writer doing it on purpose? Did you slide this writer? Is that a control thing?
Maybe you should write your own stuff.
Yeah, I'd actually be really
done
interested.
right.
Okay, control for the variables. Get someone who objectively knows the content to review every single word in the script and see how many errors were in this half that you read versus the half that other read. And guess what? If there were more errors in the half that you read versus anyone else, it's not because of sexism either.
Yeah, or just do your own work.
Yeah, you could just do that.
Yeah.
I'll be the one flamed. And yeah, it also happens to Gerard and TBH.
It also happens to Gerard. Like, I thought when she was saying that, it also happens when I share a script with Gerard or TBH, but it sounds, no, if we're paying attention, I think she's saying it happens to them too.
They get flamed.
Wait, so you're saying you get flamed when there's takes that people disagree
No,
with?
that they get targeted individually for the errors in the script that was written by someone else.
Yeah, but like, if that's the case, then it's just the script. She's saying
I
it's
know.
these guys too.
I'm so confused in what she's saying now.
It's these guys too, but it's
The
sexism.
thing she's saying happens to her, happens to everyone, these other two guys.
But that doesn't discount the sexism of how it happens to me when it does.
That's what I'm
It
pointing
happens to these other guys, just the same way it happens to me, but what happens to me is sexist?
That seems to be
Oh my goodness! I can't believe that!
I can believe it.
Oh, these people, how unaware and stupid! This is like,
How self-centered.
it's not sexist when they have. I can't believe that. Like, I really thought this was only happening to her, and therefore it was sexist because she's getting flamed for the errors in the script that someone else wrote. But she's literally just said it happens to other people. They get flamed for the errors in the script that someone else
But
wrote.
it's sexist when it
But
happens
it's
to me.
sexist when it happens to her. I can't believe it.
No, it's in fitting with their
Oh
beliefs.
my goodness! Oh, it's just the stupidity of the blatant on display. This is like her literally creating sexism where there isn't sexism. She's gone out of her way to create sexism, and it doesn't discount the sexism. Look, let's try and be charitable. Is she trying to say when they flame me for the errors, they do sexist comments? But when they flame them for the errors, they just flame them for the errors, but I get it related to my appearance.
She didn't say that,
Didn't
though.
really say that, but she said that there are, because first she said there are obvious things of sexism, and now she was like, this is the subconscious, sexism. She said that we're talking about, unconscious bias here, and so therefore we're not talking about overt actions, comments. Gosh.
It's just more of the same.
But even if it was, right? Even if it was the way she gets flamed for the errors in the script that someone else wrote was with sexist comments about her appearance where the guys just talk about the errors, that's all about the low-hanging fruit. Okay? When someone gets annoyed with someone and they want to trigger you because you made an error, they're going to pick the thing that they know you're sensitive about, and you have proven oh so terribly how sensitive you are about her appearance.
She hasn't said that.
She hasn't said it.
She
Was
said
it. This is me.
the script.
I'm saying even if we had this charitable interpretation, it still doesn't work because low-hanging fruit. They're not.
It's because of what she said. She said
Yeah.
it's the script.
If the guy was fat and they made a mistake, this is a fat idiot. What are they? Sorry, I didn't mean to point at you.
Point right at me.
Is that the subconscious bias?
Help, help! I'm being oppressed!
I'll point to me as well when I'm fat, right? But people go for low-hanging fruit when they hate me. They'll make fun of whatever thing they can try and do. And
They'll
so
call
the
you
fat thing,
neckbeard.
some
himself.
people tried to do fat not too long ago. It really didn't work because I've lost a lot of weight.
Yeah.
And so, but neckbeard, that one comes up.
Yeah, I get incel just because I'm single.
I do get incel. I get incel regularly. In fact,
5 kids.
yeah, I know, that's the hilarious thing. On Night's Watch, we get the hate watchers, right? And yeah, the incel one comes up and it just makes you laugh. It's like, yeah. Because I know how untrue it is. It can't affect me at all because it's blatantly untrue. She's getting very triggered by the appearance comments because she obviously knows there's a vein of truth in there in terms of, I'm not saying she couldn't appear as attractive. Okay, I think if she, worked on her personality and appeared, okay, obviously she could be attracted to many people. She doesn't do it for me. It's not the face. And I'm married as well, and that's who I like to focus on.
Yeah, no doubt.
Exactly.
For me, it's just her crappy attitude. That's it. I could care less. She's, in terms of my rating system, she's fine. It's just her attitude.
Both things can be true.
Both things can be... No, only one thing can be true.
So they're literally trying to say there, the fact that I get criticised for the errors in this script the same way that the guys get criticised, it's sexist. And both things can be true. It's like...
Yeah, there's the postmodernism.
Yeah, that's
right
the
there.
double thing. It's and...
Whether you're guilty or innocent, both things can be true.
Oh, gosh.
That there is a general hatred of any change that isn't Adam, and that all receive special flame just for being a woman. Of how it happens to me when it does. Both things can be true. That there is a general hatred of any change that isn't Adam.
That isn't Adam? general hatred of any change that isn't Adam. I don't know what that exclusion.
They're like 3 different.
So maybe
thoughts.
Adam doesn't get the hate. I don't know. Maybe he's actually.
Yeah, but Adam isn't the change. He was on the show before.
Oh, is that why? Okay. And
So
so
what's
people are being hypercritical to the new blood. Obviously, you have to prove yourself. Yeah, okay. If Adam's already proved himself, that's a no-brainer. And so she's established there's a general backlash in fans against the crap errors that you make. Okay? But when it happens to me, it's sexist because I'm a woman.
Both things can be true, Shad.
No, I can't. But like, you've utterly disproven this narrative by the fact that the other guys get flamed for the errors in the script, and she's trying to say it just as much, basically. But because it happens to her and she's a woman, it's no. I can't. This the whole criticizing women is sexist because they're a woman. You entitled, pathetic, weak person. No, grow friggin' up. Get some perspective and reality. I can't believe it. Cannot believe it.
I can.
And again, it's the whole thing. She wants sexism to exist. She wants to be a victim, and she's creating it out of nothing.
It's her business model.
Gosh.
It's her entire business model.
And that I'll receive special flame just for being a woman. And I wish I could turn the camera around so that you could see the incredible team that make X-Play.
Why don't you?
Why don't you? Yeah.
If they're so incredible, get them on camera.
Yeah, like them stand by what they write in the reviews.
We're not stopping you. We watched Boogie for.
But look, if they're the ones who don't want to appear on camera because there's legitimately shy people, granted, okay, you know.
If Boogie can get 1 subscriber for every kilogram he has on him, like, appearance isn't the factor here. You know?
I would say that's unfair, Oz, but the fact that he's been losing subscribers since he's
Sorry.
been losing weight seems to correlate.
Let me rephrase that.
What's going on?
Can I rephrase that?
Yeah.
If Boogie can have 1 subscriber for every 1,000 grams he eats a day, it's clearly not appearance that is the issue.
He's eating less. He's lost weight.
He's still dumb and he sucks.
Half of our producers and writers are women. Emily, Abby, Megan, Joe, Jake, Zipper, Gabby.
Don't friggin' care. They could be all women, they could be no women. It doesn't mean that the product you're making is good just because it was made by a person with the right thing between their legs, or lack of thing, I should say.
Yeah, but diversity for them.
I know, it's pathetic, but it doesn't mean spit.
Apparently
it's
it
like,
does.
oh, made by women? Does that make it a better product? It doesn't.
Unless it's breast milk, yeah.
What?
How could you say something so good, Professor?
Yeah,
It's
so true. I mean, it's...
I know it's so brave, but I like to switch it to
No,
so
that's
true.
fine. I wasn't going to correct you. I preferred that one.
Ah, gosh. No, I can't, it's legitimately sexist to think X product is either superior or inferior just because it was made by a certain gender. It's legitimate sexism.
Wait.
It shows this woman is a sexist because she thinks the show is better because it was made by women.
So you're saying the feminists and the progressives are the real sexists?
Yeah.
Does this work for the racists too? Like, are they the real racists, man?
I would say they can be very racist. It doesn't mean any other acts of racism isn't racism.
Huh. Okay.
And,
yes, I am having a go at you.
I know. And I'm not saying either, like, other acts of sexism isn't sexist, but what she's saying is objectively sexist.
Yeah.
That it's just better because it's women, and by implication it would have been worse if it was just men, when the product, the end result hasn't changed, except for maybe who's appearing on camera, but...
She just sees them as a 1 or a 0.
Yeah.
It goes on and on and on. Former writers that are now on ATOS like Vanessa. When you're in our DMs or on those YouTube comments or in Twitch chat right now, those reactionary threads thinking that I'm somehow ruining your current X-Play experience because you can't objectify me.
And not because we're trying to objectify it. We want to do the opposite of that, lady.
What are you saying, Aiden?
Hold on, I have to process what I just heard, because there's so much assumption there.
I know.
As to why I go to watch the show because it's about video games, and I'm not going to objectify you if you're not attractive, and so just...
funny, it's like, I'm ruining your X-Play experience because you can't objectify. It's like, no, maybe it's things like this that's ruining the X-Play experience, you moron!
If I wanted to see women with sex appeal, I'd go watch X-Play from 10 years ago.
And, well, actually, look, this is a legitimate point, right? If part of their whole previous X-Play experience was having attractive women, and that was essential to them, like to their enjoyment of it, and now not having attractive women in their new X-Play experience, that would effectively ruin what the original experience was. You can't say this new G4 TV is similar enough to the other one when there are stark differences to what the previous product was versus now. And so if people wanted the previous product, they would be perfectly entitled to say, this is ruining the experience. Now, it's interesting. I'm not necessarily saying that I think it's her attitude mostly that's ruining it. But she's saying it's ruining because you can't objectify me.
We don't want to.
Yeah,
I don't want to have any sexual fantasy about you, lady.
No, thank you.
No, what I would like is a more cheerful attitude, but that's sexist too, apparently.
And so this is the thing. If she actually wanted to try and duplicate what the previous X-Play experience was, she would try a little bit better with her appearance, is what I'm saying. Because that's what the previous X-Play experience brought.
But that's, again, it's a problem she invented. No one asked for that.
Well, no, I think people were expecting that. I think a lot of the audience that liked the eye candy in the previous, thing.
For Attack of the Show, yeah, but not X-Play. X-Play is different from Attack of the Show.
Really? So
yeah.
X-Play didn't have...
X-Play had Morgan Webb, but it wasn't overtly raunchy.
Okay.
They just talked about video games. But Attack of the Show was raunchy.
But this is the thing. I think it would be easier to watch any review, even if, let's say the delivery was the same and the content and words were the same, it would be easy to watch it delivered by Morgan Webb versus Frosk here.
Yeah.
Because one is easier on the eyes. It's the halo effect. You can't blame people for finding it easier to watch attractive people do stuff versus people who are not as attractive.
Yeah, but it's not the biggest thing like she's making it out to be. Like, we watched Boogie.
Well, that's yes, you're absolutely right. Like, in terms of review content, that's not the say or be all and end all. In actual fact, there's a lot of ugly people. Look at us, right? Making content that the value of the content is reliant on what we say, the delivery, hopefully the interesting discussion, all that. Okay, so it's again. I don't believe her when she says that people are saying the X-Play experience is worse because of her looks. I think they're saying it's worse overall, and they might do the hanging fruit and everything. It's because it's her. You can't objectify. I think there's a lot of dislike about this presenter, her past and everything like that. I think they just don't like her previous work, the merit that she's been able to bring to the end results. Sexist. And then this is the thing. This is why I'm saying it now. She has proven, without any doubt or challenge to it, that she purposefully interprets criticism that is not sexist as sexist, purely because she's a woman.
Nothing new for feminists.
Yes, and so now, right here, she's claiming that people are saying the X-Play whatever parts are not as good because they can't objectify her. I don't believe you now. You're full of crap. You've already shown that you purposely choose something and interpret it to be sexist when it's actually not. Yeah. And so based on the standard you've established, in real time, what I'm seeing here, no, I don't believe you. I don't believe what you're saying here. It's vastly more likely that people have been complaining about the X-Play just for actual problems in it, with your delivery, your attitude, your past, whatever, and you are interpreting it as sexist because you want to be a victim.
How you previously did to Morgan, or that I'm somehow less qualified to speak on something, but you can't quite put your finger on why.
Again, so Nathan, you already mentioned about, the problems that she's had in her, commentary, review and stuff. Maybe that's what makes her less qualified, not her looks. But no, they can't take criticism, okay? Yeah. And so, I can't be bad at my job. It must be they hate me for my looks. That's what I think was what's happening here. She's proven the standard already because that's what she's gone to. And so I don't believe you when you say people are disliking your content because of your looks and that you say you're just as qualified as the previous hosts. I don't believe you. And by the way, the previous hosts, already more likable. They seem happy, fun, entertaining, and they never did any of this bullcrap, virtue signaling, shaming, attacking the fan base audience at all. Just on the observable metrics in real time, what I'm seeing here, they are more qualified in many areas for being a likable, better host than you are. And that has nothing to do with appearance. It's just how they present and how their personality. Yeah. Yes. You look like you found something there, Nathan.
Yeah, I found an article basically talking about the whole fiasco and that once she kind of started ranting, I'm trying to figure out if it's from the same live stream, but basically since then they've been moderating the chat very heavily.
Liberal censoring?
And it's funny because comments like one YouTuber said, I commented, hey, that ratio though, and then they deleted it, and like basic stuff like that, saying, like someone.
I bet they would have said we were deleting sexist comments.
Yeah, one of them was commenting the previous, attractive host, saying she's fire, and that got deleted as well because they're like, Olivia Munn's hot.
You can't even compliment the previous host because they're not complimenting the main host, and that means the main host. Oh, God, they're such sensitive, weak, pathetic people.
Just consume product and be happy about product. No disagreements or complaints about product.
Because if you're a sexist
or a racist or any other word we want to give you.
And the article points out a good fact of saying that, back in the day, because this wasn't TV back in the day, wasn't it? It was just paid television. Like, it wasn't the viewers wanting that. It was the producers making it. So should we be calling out the producers and creators of the show rather than the viewers who are watching?
I mean, it seems like if the viewers are liking what the producers are making, that would just encourage the producers to do it more. And so I think it's a bit of a feedback.
Yeah.
Well, even then, like we were talking about before, the projection of these different, industries being like, oh, you're sexist, you're racist, like Hollywood. You stop mistreating women, fans, when Harvey Weinstein, when the dude who made the first X-Men movie, it's like...
it shows how sensitive these people are, that they can't take true criticism about their craft. Like our movie isn't bad, you're just a sexist for hating it, because they can't actually admit the blatant lack of talent that exists, that they just got given a free pass in many instances because there were other boxes that were being ticked apart from actual talent to do the job properly. And so people will be coming at with more skepticism, especially these days. And again, there's a different standard you're being compared against, because the YouTube reviews are awesome, they're great. And these people can't compare. They're not even made by individual people. They're made by a team, and then the person presenting it didn't even play the freaking game.
Yeah. Where's the investment? There is none.
Where's the effort?
Where's the honesty?
Compared to the effort, and yes, honesty and the authenticity that YouTube brings, and many of the YouTube reviewers, these people got nothing.
Like, we didn't come here to watch what, Jacob from behind the camera who's editing in a quiet room, what he thinks about it. We came here to see what our personalities thought about it.
They don't seem to understand parasocial relationships. Because now, you create a relationship with the host, the person that's on camera. And so the people, the viewers, want to hear what the person, the host, says. And when they find out they're getting lied to by a host, well, they will feel, betrayed.
Oh, I wonder how they'll feel when they get attacked by the host.
Even though I'm reading the exact same script as Adam, but you have no problem with he's part of it,
Hang on, you already said that... So, is Adam the one that she gave a freebie for that he doesn't get attacked?
Yeah. It was Adam, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so she's already admitted that she and the other guys get attacked, but not this Adam guy, whoever he is, there's a previous host. That's called goodwill. Simple as that. Okay?
But also, look at it from her perspective. Who's she willing to throw under the bus here? She's saying, you're not attacking Adam enough. You're only attacking me. You don't attack this guy?
But she's already admitted the other guys get attacked as well. She's in the same, thing, but when it's her, it's sexism.
Yeah.
you're letting your unconscious biases ruin my day, and you're gatekeeping the gaming space.
There it is. You're letting your unconscious biases ruin. Look, if they are criticizing the other male hosts, right, as much as you, and not Adam, right, that's not unconscious sexism against you because it's happening across the board. You're just interpreting it as sexism. In terms of unconscious bias, that they're not criticizing this Adam guy versus the other hosts, yeah, it's called goodwill, okay? They're willing to take his word for it and probably not fact-checking or on defense to what he says compared to the people that have to prove themselves because they're new. It's a normal thing of reality, okay? Yep. And you're obviously failing. Drastically so.
It's like, you know Philip DeFranco? He once had a thing called SourceFed. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I heard of
SourceFed. So he had SourceFed and it got bought by Discovery and then sold by Discovery to someone else. And when it got sold, they kept the channel, got rid of all the presenters, changed the name to Now This, and then started putting out content again, expecting people to just be like, okay with it.
Yeah.
You can't just it's the skin suit thing that Carl said. It doesn't work like that. Idiots. You build a rapport with people.
Yes, you have to earn it.
Yeah.
You have to earn that relationship that gets created.
Just like everyone knows that if there's a comment that says my name in it, I'm going to read it.
I remembered that review show with the 2 female hosts. It was called The No.
No.
The
Okay.
No. Yeah, I think it is. Double check me.
I haven't heard about it.
Anyway, but what happened is there were some bad comments to the female hosts, but they did the same thing with The No, where these other people came in, they renamed it and everything, and I was like, this isn't what I subscribe
And the fans
for.
were like, no,
And I unsubscribed.
goodbye.
You got to re-earn my subscription, and if I end up watching your videos, maybe, but I never have. Like, I
Yep.
never bothered. Yeah, and so I didn't do it.
Gatekeeping the gaming space. So maybe for 2022, we'd be a bit nicer.
Oh, yeah, you're really setting up that trend, aren't you?
Maybe try leading by example.
Oh, so oblivious, so unaware. It's the hypocrisy and then the balls to be so indignant and self-righteous and accuse other people of God, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. It's like, and you're ruining my day. Only as much as you're letting it. I mean, really. It's unbelievable.
Imagine
Like, she already acknowledged the other guys get crapped on, okay, as much as her. And they, like, if you're really wanting to try and overcome certain sexist stereotypes, okay, acting like the stereotypical hysterical woman, it's not working in that regard, where the other guys have been crapped on, and are they reacting anything like this to this level? Oh
Yeah.
my goodness, yeah.
I think the guys they thought, you know, if I did, then this would be unpopular. It'd be a bad take. And so they said nothing.
Ignore bad comments, ignore trolls, and like, you could have not reacted worse for this. Except for, I mean, she's going to get all the support from the communities that she's for, but GTV is going to...
It's done.
Yeah.
A bit more self-reflective, and we...
Now,
It just keeps going!
if this lady got self-reflective, even for a
Oh,
second, her
no.
head would explode.
I mean, if you read the comments and self-reflected and realized maybe some of these things have truth in them, and you were open to change,
Her psyche couldn't handle it.
Self-reflect. It's a good thing to be self-reflective, isn't it? I would agree.
enjoy the fact that people are working hard to make free content for you.
Oh, the entitlement! It's like, we work hard, so you must be grateful for the product. Doesn't matter about the quality, it can be steaming crap. We worked hard because we put in effort. You must like it. If you don't, you're a clear racist sexist. Friggin' can't stand it, you absolute cow. That's what makes us hate you. Crap like this. The unbelievable entitlement. That's not how reality works, lady. Not at all, okay? I mean, and I expect to be roasted if I make a bad quality product. I'm an author. I've published a novel, all right? And if it was bad, people would I'll never say, you must like it, because I worked friggin' hard on that book. You have no idea. But I can't believe it. It's exactly this. It's just, we worked hard, you must like it.
I worked hard on this turd sandwich.
Yes! I really want to just push out a massive turd, put so much effort into it. I genuine, sincere effort to push out this turd and then make it into a sandwich and put it, give it... I can't believe it.
There's some mayonnaise on there and everything.
I can't believe it. And she's so unironic and like, she means like...
She's like a single mother.
Oh, wow.
It's so hard all day. I come home, I make dinner for everyone.
And it's like an acknowledgement that she knows the product is crap, but it's free. We're making free content for you. You must like.
Yeah,
but
and
it's
we're getting
not
our money's
free.
worth.
It's technically not free. Yeah.
They get money from somewhere.
No,
Yeah.
but the content to consume is free.
But if I'm watching ads,
If
it's-
I'm
if
still
it's
giving
ads,
them my
it's not
time.
Okay, well, fine.
And if
But
they've got
Yeah, yeah.
subscriptions on Twitch,
You are paying by your time. If you went to go to, this is the same with my YouTube videos.
And I'm still
They come-
paying too much.
They come to watch the video, but anything that's not the actual content of the video is stuff that the video isn't entitled to. And then the agreement is that the viewer is willing to pay their time through the ad to get the content. Yeah. Support the creators that you like. That's just what I'm saying. That's what I meant by it. Not people that are like, these people think they're entitled to your support just because they made it.
Because they've been told they
They've
are.
put in effort and it's free. Like, I don't give a freak, and it's not free. And even if you think, like, I don't give a crap, it's like, no, it better be good.
You know, back in the 80s, not in the 80s, 90s, when people were warning about, participation awards? This is exactly what happened.
This is where it leads
This
to.
led
You're
to
right.
that.
You're absolutely right.
I turned mine down in year 3. I came 4th place, and they gave me a participation award. I don't want
I
this.
don't want your pathetic sympathy.
Now, physical proof I lost. No, thank you.
I don't need your pity.
Yeah.
And and what's amazing, it was compounded by how genuine and just like full on committed she is to this, and the gall and the obliviousness to it. It is like, no wonder people are talking about this so much. This is just like an example of nearly so many of the problems of the modern day summed up in this horrible rant. It's right here.
If you don't like it, don't watch it.
Done,
News. Thanks for watching, guys.
We will see you next time. We're genuine, and see you at the next watch.